title.
Description. Yeah. I got salty coming on today.
Oh, dude?
So what do you mean? What's the difference between this and the last time?
No, it's the same thing. It was easier this time because they already have us on file.
Yeah.
They were just like, you guys are good.
Nice.
You guys are good. But last time, like 2 weeks ago, I didn't hear anything back from them. That's why we didn't go to what was the last home game?
I don't know. I don't
I
follow
can't
these
remember.
guys anymore.
I can't even remember. But yeah, the group is this week, so we're gonna try to head out either Saturday night after Brunch Fest
I
or
gotta
early
go.
Sunday morning,
I gotta go to the freaking
6 in the
Green
morning.
Fest Sunday.
To where?
Green Fest.
Are you going there Sunday?
I have to. Because there's no way I'm gonna go after our
Friday.
after the show. That's what he said.
I might.
Friday night.
Either that or I'll go early Saturday morning with the kid. Take care of your dinner
Yeah.
for that night.
Yeah, that's true.
Very true.
Oh, I gotta get my hair cut Friday.
Have Gooby drop you off?
Have Gooby drop me off. It's hot. Motherfucker. It's getting hot in here. So take off all your clothes. I'm gonna turn it on. Relax. Leave it off for now. Their audio. Thank you.
You gotta get up close like this. Bada bing! You blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180
Now
KERN.
make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, however you may be viewing. For those subscribing on YouTube, it's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Tuesday, 7th day of October. A date for the Israelis, which will live in infamy. We'll delve into the 2-year anniversary of the attack on the Israelis during a music festival that has launched one of the most heinous, vicious, violent conflicts we've seen in the 21st century. Get into that. The KHSD has joined the County School District Board in supporting Title IX, in other words, making a resolution stating they're going to fight transgender athletes in activities. It's a Tuesday, so Teresa Golden will join us live. God, you got that thing tied on, brother. Why don't you just put it on the table here, Chris? Just sit it right here on the table, just where it's like right here. Just right here, just right here on the, just right on the, right here, brother. I'm telling you.
You realize it hasn't moved since JR show.
As the age, well, he's younger than I am. He's better looking than I am. He could be right, he could have the tights. Have you ever seen the movie Tootsie? You ever seen the movie Tootsie? Hello? Hello? Are these too difficult? Am I going too fast?
Am I even heard from by people?
How? What?
Even heard by people?
What are you saying?
Can people hear me?
Yes. Can you all hear him? Yes. I'm pretty sure they can hear you. Got no complaints. Have you seen the motion picture Tootsie?
No.
You've never seen the movie Tootsie?
No.
With Dustin Hoffman, where he dresses like a woman?
I've heard of this, and I think I've seen clips of it, but
Well, he's auditioning, and he's a woman. So naturally, and it's Dustin Hoffman, who I guess is a handsome man, but not a very fetching woman. And so they ask one of the photogs, how tight do you want me to get on him? They're like, back up just a little bit, back up. And they go, how far do you want me to back up? And one of the guys goes, how about Cleveland? That's all I'm saying. Just back this thing, just to Lamont, maybe. and get a little, the narcissistic host. So Teresa Gold will join us at the bottom of the hour, and Jeff Salters is going to join us live in studio at 4:30. It is a huge week for Honor Flight. Honor Flight 52, if you can believe that, wheels up on Monday morning, returning on Wednesday. Hope you'll be out there to support the veterans going and coming. And of course, we culminate the week on Thursday with our 9th annual Honor Flight fundraiser, where we are going to raise $50,000. Over the 8 years, you all have helped me raise over $300,000, and we sent over 150 veterans to Washington, D.C. to see their memorials. For the 4 or 5 people that don't know what I'm talking about, maybe new to our community, Honor Flight is an organization that is spread out all across the country. And it began as a World War II memorial, really, to send the surviving World War II veterans back to see the World War II memorial, which, believe it or not, was erected in the 1990s. I don't know the exact year, but why it took them 5 decades to honor the greatest generation is absolutely beyond me. But it is a gorgeous, gorgeous memorial filled with water fountains and all kind of inscriptions and quotes from Franklin Roosevelt and Winston Churchill, and I believe there's a quote from Douglas MacArthur. And it's a great way to start the trip. And now, obviously, with time, we have fewer and fewer World War II veterans, and now it's mostly Vietnam veterans who are now, even them, are in their 70s and 80s. And it's just an absolute game changer for these men. I almost feel like a broken record whenever I talk about it, but I am proud to talk about it. As I've said, it's the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my career, being associated with these people, the Guardians and the volunteers, and Lely Marsh and the entire organization, and obviously the veterans. And so I really, really need your help next week, and hope you'll help us once again raise. I think last year we raised like $45,000. So this year we want to try to reach 50. And we'll be broadcasting live from Virginia on Tuesday and Wednesday. Right?
Monday, Tuesday?
Monday, Tuesday. I knew I was wrong. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday you'll hear
off on that one.
Yeah, Wednesday is the flyback. Wednesday you'll hear stored interviews that I've done throughout the week that I'll send back to JR and Chris. But Monday we arrive, and they feed the fellas. I get in around 4 o'clock, and JR does kind of a song and dance for the first hour with some interviews that I'll do the morning that we leave from the airport. You'll hear from some of the guys before they took off, and then I'll do a 2-hour show. And then when Tuesday we'll have the full show, that's when they honor the veterans with a dinner where they are all given a flag, a Capitol flag that actually flew on top of the Capitol. Their biographies are read, and their stories are all told. And it's just a really, really bonding night for all the veterans. And then Wednesday is travel day. We head to Baltimore, where we fly out of, and visit Fort McHenry, the site of where Francis Scott Key wrote the Star Spangled Banner, which is just a great story that I love, that I didn't know until I started going on Honor Flight, until I visited Baltimore, where he was on a British ship trying to negotiate the freedom of a friend of his who'd been taken hostage. And the British had already planned to invade Baltimore, so they couldn't release him. They didn't want to kill him, so they held him hostage while they were going to ravage Baltimore. Well, much to their chagrin, the Americans rose up and staved off this sure thing. And that's when he saw from a British ship the rockets' red glare bursting in air, bombs bursting in air, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll talk with Jeff at 4:30. And the Bengals have traded Joe Flacco. Shedeur Sanders is moving closer to his inevitability. I cannot wait till that boy gets on the field and just makes these guys just look like idiots. Just make these guys look like morons. Because let me tell you something. It's football. It's not, they treat it like it's super genius and these coaches spend 16 hours in their room and they're locked away. And it's football. It's football. It's not rocket science. And yet, for whatever reasons, they passed on this kid. And I cannot wait till he gets on the field, which will not be long, given the second half that Dylan Thomas. I dare you to come up with another Dylan.
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think of the actual actor and I can't remember his name right now.
Bob Dylan.
Dang it.
Steal it from you. That's the only one I can come up with.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Low on Dylan's.
Dylan is a strange
It
name.
really is.
Yeah. The only other stranger name, I have never met a boy named Dawson until Scott's,
Producer.
AKA Billy. Is he still calling him Billy?
Yes, and I've
He
tried.
is not.
He does, yeah. He's got the listeners even calling him Billy now.
No.
Yeah.
That's just wrong.
One of them tried to call me Billy, and I said, "Oh no, I'm shutting that down right now."
That's just wrong. But we begin with an exciting night. I'll tell you something, guys. I got to be honest with you. I've never had one scintilla of pity for Chris Burdick until last night.
Done, man. I'm
I
over.
mean, he was
Season's done.
distraught.
Season's done.
He tried to play it off,
Season's done.
but he was
It's over.
distraught. Hey, come on, be a fan. You can win 3 in a row.
What's the point?
Yeah, you're right.
I tried being a fan. I tried going into that game with a positive mindset. I have Randy over here saying, "Oh, better luck next year, Phillies." And it's only 5 innings through the game. I tried to be the positive one here, and they crushed me. They crushed me.
Your guys, your superstars, just ain't doing it. I told you, the 3 of them. I didn't find out till this morning that it was our former shortstop that bounced out to Tommy Edelman, who could have blown the game. I've seen that 8 times now, and I don't know. Have you watched it?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what. He was throwing a screwball. Did you see his arm?
Mm-hmm.
He turned his arm. What? And thank God it was kind of an easy scoop for Freddie because it was kind of a high bounce that he could come up with. And had he dropped it, I don't know who was running, who was hitting. Because had he dropped it, he could have picked it up. The guy still would have been out.
Trey Turner was the runner.
No.
Trey
Oh,
Turner
that's
was the one
Trey
who hit
Turner. Well, where was Trey Turner? Why was he not even in the? Was it hit that hard? Because when Freddie caught it, he caught it and then laid there, and Turner's still not in the picture.
True.
And I was thinking he could have dropped that and
He
picked it
probably
up
didn't
and
run.
still.
He probably saw it go straight to the second baseman and said,
just
"Oh,
said,
we're
"Screw
done."
it." Wouldn't that have been funny if he had thrown it away and traded and run?
That's what I'm saying. And it's like, and this is what I'm talking about. They crushed it. They crushed me.
And you know what? Their Philly fans are more upset than you. They're saying you should have never bunted, which
Shouldn't.
I kind of agree with, actually.
Stott is a
nobody
notoriously
out.
hard-hitting clutch guy, and why you have him bunt, I'll never know.
And just have him just take it to right field.
Why Nick Castellanos is trying to run from second to third when he really didn't need to either, I'll never freaking know.
On the bunt?
Yes, and when they threw him out, Mookie flipped over the top of him and all that. And
Well, that was the whole point of the bunt, was to get him to third base.
Yeah, but you got to
you didn't know.
bunt
You
is
didn't
right in front of third base. Don't run. Stay at second. Have him throw him out at first.
I don't know if you can blame that on Castellano. I think you got to blame it on the fact that they didn't have anybody to pinch run for him, which was kind of weird.
That's another thing.
And did you see the play from behind home plate? You got to give it to Mookie, because Mookie is to Castellanos' left.
Yeah, he's behind him.
He's behind him.
Yeah, he's behind him.
And he beats him to third base easily. I mean, he sprint that. And in fact, let's play that. Let's play that audio. This is Mookie and Max Muncy talking about what they call the wheel play.
You know, wheel play is not something that we traditionally do. But as soon as we got in that situation, me, Luke, and Tommy immediately started talking about, hey, we got to try something different here. We can't just play standard ball play. And when Todd came out and made pitching change, we talked to him about it, and he was all on board. And you know, I'm going to credit Luke because it was his idea. He was saying, we got to go wheel play. We got to go wheel play. And so we talked about how we were going to do it, and you know, we got executed to correction. To me, that was like a do or die situation. I think because every time we turned all momentum there, so we could find a way to stop it. So just made a decision to roll with.
How big could you feel the momentum change getting that out at third base?
Yeah, it's huge.
No, not anymore. That's just must. Yeah, it was huge. It was gargantuan. It was the ball game. Might even be the series. 1-1. It's a whole new ball game. They steal game 3 tomorrow, and our backs are against the wall. But I'm pretty sure. I don't want to mush them, but 1 to win out of 3, you would think we'd be able to pull it off. But why Dave Roberts continues to bring out Blake Trinan, I just can't understand it. I just can't. It's winning time. This is you left Conforto off the damn roster. You made Wobeliski or whatever his name, left him off the roster. You made some hard decisions. Why he's spoon feeding this idiot Trinan. Granted, he helped us. We don't win the World Series without Blake Trinan last year. We don't. He got us through the NLDS last year. He got us through New York in New York. Okay, fine. But I'm sorry, it's sports. What have you done for me lately? Do you know that the Dodger ERA, the bullpen ERA is 9.00? You know Blake Trinan's ERA is 5.47? That's 5 runs every time he comes in. And had he stayed in, he would have met his quota. It's just insane. Meantime, Rocky's out there with a jacket on. I'm like, are you serious? Like, what? I mean, are you just like trying to just torture us, Dave? We found our closer. Let's use him in the 9th solely, exclusively. Because it's going to get funky in a 7-game series. You're not going to be able to see Tyler Glasnow come in relief in a 7-game series. Starters are going to have to go 7. Sheehan looked okay, but no Blake Trinan, no Tanner Scott. Who else is on the no-show list? I don't know if we can get by without Vesia because we don't have any other left-handed relievers. Vesia, I think you just have to hold your breath. But Tanner Scott better not show his face. I know that. Blake Trinan, negative. Can't have it. There is this guy left-handed that we've had for a little while that could come in. I keep forgetting his name. What's his name?
I think it's Kershaw.
Clayton.
That guy.
Clayton Kershaw.
He's not like he's been around for a long.
Let him come in and throw a couple of curveballs. Get us out of the inning. Quick timeout. Just getting started. Teresa Golden going to join us in a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. Then our good friend from Salty's Barbecue, Jeff Salters, going to talk about he's leading Honor Flight 52 Wheels Up on Monday morning. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
On the next Armstrong and Getty show, top secret memos have come to light. The Democratic Party's strategy for the midterms, how they're going to talk about crime. It is thought-provoking.
And we're supposed to have a policy in place where China can no longer buy our best AI chips and all that sort of stuff. Well, it ain't working at all. They bought.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You guys know that I'm not a really big fan of Halloween, but can we at least admit that at the end of the night, it's really about a risque evening of ladies
Hey, we got a new
kitty
client.
cats and police
my air
uniforms and
conditioning
dirty
got
nerds,
something
et cetera. Well, that team was picked up at
Love those
Casey's
guys.
Steakhouse because
Yeah.
on October
Love those
31st,
guys.
Cassie Biddle is throwing a 1,001 night party, which is
Yeah,
going to
I love those
skip the
guys. Really
costume
good guys.
party and join them for dinner.
Really good
and
guys.
a belly dancing show.
Who got me in
It's going to
trouble.
be a great night
because I
with
once
a
called them
5-course
independently, and I'm
meal,
not supposed to do that.
2 craft cocktails,
Supposed to
and
call them and
photos
say
with
something.
the
It was
belly
like, no,
dancers
it's like
who'll
7
be
o'clock at night.
performing on
I
F
was like,
Street
dude, is there
for
any way you can
3
come by?
hours that
Yeah.
night. Tonight, you may not want to miss October 31st, obviously Halloween night, beginning at 6:30 on F Street at KC Steakhouse. Longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code MILE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime.
You
right
got
now.
that,
PayPal
Hakeem
or a
Jeffries?
gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just
Hakeem
download the free
Jeffries?
Upside app and use promo code MILE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code MILE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Don't miss Megyn Kelly live on stage with special guests Charlie Sheen and Victor Davis Hanson, November 20th at Dignity Health Arena. Get tickets now at MegynKelly.com. Presented by Y-Refi and SiriusXM.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage California can count on.
Graybeard here, host of the SolarWise Radio Show. Listen, nobody likes PG&E. They're outrageously expensive. Join me Sundays at 6 p.m. right here on Current Radio, News Talk 1180.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180.
Which is unfortunate for Honor Flight. Most of the memorials that they go to are outdoor memorials, but I heard this morning that the outdoor memorials will be open. The bathrooms will not be open, which can be a problem when you're traveling with 70s and 80-year-olds and perhaps even 90-year-olds. So that is, they have no idea what they're doing. And as I said, the best way to solve this is to tie any shutdown to their checks. If Congress doesn't get paid, we'd never see a government shutdown again. Meantime, the president met with the Canadian Prime Minister today in the Oval Office, and of course, he had a pseudo impromptu press conference. Here was he had to say about the shutdown and some of the Democrats he names by name.
Every day we put forth a bill. It's just a continuation. It's a very simple thing to sign and very simple to do. And I really think that these are people that I think they have nothing to lose. They have a party that's out of control. They have no leader. Nobody knows who the leader is. I look at people with very low IQs like Crockett, this woman Crockett. I never met her, but she's a low IQ individual. I look at AOC talking about how if they want to negotiate, they can come to my office. She's not in that position to do that. And who the hell is she to say that? And then I watch Nancy Pelosi not knowing what to do. I watch their leadership. Look, Schumer is petrified of primary because he's not going to win probably against anybody in a primary. You know, Schumer did the right thing, but he handled it badly originally a year ago. He did probably the right thing, but he handled it badly. I think Schumer's incapable of making a deal.
And even on Meet the Press this weekend, and this is why I like her over Chuck Todd, Kirsten Welker asked the House Minority Leader the very same thing. You guys had in terms of spending the same deal that you signed on to 6 months ago.
You say this is a Republican shutdown, but it's Democratic senators who are withholding their votes on what is called a clean resolution. That means no strings attached, which is something, quite frankly, Leader, that you and other Democrats have advocated for in the past. Take a look.
You do not use the threat of shutting down government to try to advance your policy agenda.
First thing that the House has to do is pass a clean 6-week CR.
A continuing resolution that is at the fiscal year 2023 levels is the only way forward.
Period. Do you see the hypocrisy? I can show it to you on a daily basis. We showed you Hillary Clinton from years ago saying that illegal immigrants should not get the same sort of medical care that American citizens get. She said that. We have the audio. I'll play it for you. If I had longer time, I only got about a minute and a half. But we played it. It is just, I know I sound naive that a bunch of politicians are playing politics. But when it comes to people's money, when it comes to jobs, when it comes to, keeping open the government, you can't sign off on this thing and then make the Obama subsidies, which I think need to be renewed and very, very soon, because a lot of 25 million Americans are going to see their insurance rates go sky high if something is not done soon. But that can be completely separate from this clean CR that they're holding hostage, and the Republicans are not going to blink. This is a Democratic shutdown. There is new doings in the Zach Scrivener mess. Teresa Goldner will try to straighten it out for us when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
That's all right. I'm Greg Clugston.
How are you? It's okay.
President Trump is
I'm just
potentially
really
raising the
jumpy.
stakes of the week-old federal government
I
shutdown.
really am.
He said not all federal workers should receive back pay after the government reopens. The president told reporters that he wants to take care of our people, but added there are some people that really don't deserve to be taken care of. Democrats complain he doesn't respect the government's workforce. A majority of Supreme Court justices today seemed likely to side with a Christian counselor who is challenging bans on LGBTQ conversion therapy for kids as a violation of her First Amendment rights. Kaylee Childs argues the laws wrongly bar her from offering voluntary, faith-based therapy for children. California Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a law aimed at combating anti-Semitism in schools. Jewish leaders say it will help respond to harassment against students. This is
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm John Shearer. Vote by mail ballots went out to all active registered voters on Monday. Secretary of State Shirley Weaver said voters have several options for returning their completed ballot early, but cautions if mailed, they should be sent out a few days before Election Day to be sure your vote is counted. The California Highway Patrol is reporting the largest group of new officers since December 2009 just graduated from the CHP Academy. To graduate, cadets must endure 26 weeks of rigorous training. The new officers will now report to one of 102 CHP offices. Over 600 CHP officers have been sworn in this year. I'm John Shearer in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas.
How are you
That's
doing?
right. You can earn real cash back with Upside
Outstanding.
just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up. I've already made around $200-$300.
nonsense.
You're putting gas in your car anyway.
He's
Why
not gonna
not get
do it
real
in
cash
time.
back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash
Do you
back
know
every
this,
time you
Miss
buy gas.
Gla-
Use promo code MILE to get an
Cannon?
extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right
Yeah.
to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and
Yeah.
use promo code MILE for a 25 cents per gallon
How
bonus
can
on
he
your
be
first
mentally
tank.
ill
That's
if
code MILE for a
he's-
25 cents per gallon bonus.
Whatever you want to call it.
Millions
Huh?
of fans agree. This
Well, no,
Christmas
well,
tradition
and
rocks.
he's taking classes.
Trans-Siberian
No,
Orchestra.
no, he's taking classes at
live
Cal
in
State.
concert, presenting
Yes.
the Ghosts of
A little
Christmas
bit.
Eve.
No, but
the
he's taking
best of
classes at Cal
TSO
State.
and more. November 25th, Dignity Health Arena. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com and AXS.com. Don't miss this season's
So, I
most
mean-
exciting concert experience. Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Live in
He got high on
concert.
mushrooms.
It's the JR
And he
Show.
obviously has something with them.
Clip
because that
Andre
kind of thing
Gonzalez
doesn't
was
pop up.
asking, why are we upset
That's
that
inside-
Dolores
that's who
Huerta
you
gets
are.
the money when we weren't upset that
You-
any
don't you-
other
don't you
business
agree?
gets the money? Well, Dolores
You think
Huerta
that-
is the
you think that
only
kind of activity
business
can
in
just
town
pop
that
up?
has gone out and actively campaigned for
Pedophilia?
Prop 50 or any other
that's what
political
I'm talking
thing.
about.
That's why we're upset about it. You can't give
That's
money
what I'm saying.
from a
And
city
he always was a
to a
pedophile. He was
political
just hiding it.
organization disguised as a nonprofit.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now,
It's a Tuesday. Magistrate Judge Teresa Golder is live. How are you?
I'm doing great,
Judge?
Ralph. How are you?
I'm outstanding. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Feels good to be back. Been gone for about a little over a week.
Yeah, we're starting to call you Mike
Great.
Turnipseed.
Why is he gone a lot?
Yeah, he misses a lot
Oh no.
because he has to go to Sacramento a lot.
Well, I could do it, from New York if you wanted me to, live,
Live
from
at
the balcony at New York.
6:35 from the balcony of the what swanky hotel we
It's
stay?
not. Oh, we don't. We don't stay at a swanky hotel. We stay at a fun one. It's called the Ace Hotel. It's in Brooklyn. And
Really?
have you ever heard of an Ace Hotel?
In Vegas.
There's Aces everywhere now. Like all the cities have them. Even Palm Desert, Palm Springs has one. But they're really fun. We're probably the oldest people that stay in that hotel.
Yeah.
But there's there's one of them has a guitar in the room. I'll have record players in the rooms, and it's just really
Record
fun.
players.
Like a real record player
Chris, do you know what a record player is?
Yes, I know what a record player
with the vinyl and everything.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But it's a lot of fun. It's a fun place to stay. It's 2 blocks from where our daughter lives, so it's just
Wow.
walk back and forth all the time.
That's pretty cool.
Last time she said, "Mom, I just have one word to say." This was over the phone.
Yeah.
I said, "There's a silence." I said, "What is it, dear?" She goes, "Boundaries." So I have
Mothers
to learn
and
boundaries.
daughters. That's right. That's
Do you
exactly
have boundaries with your mom?
No, I don't see my mother enough.
Okay, so she
I'm-
wouldn't say boundaries to you.
No, I need to be down there more often. I just
Be a good son.
I know. I hate going to LA. Hate
It's not easy. The traffic is bad.
Yes, it's not the same city. I don't feel that whenever I'm down there, I just feel like I don't know this place anymore.
How old were you, Ralph, when you lived there the last time? I'm talking about
We moved there when
full-time.
I was in 4th grade and I went to school. I went off to Atlanta when I was 18. I came back at 22 and I lived there till I was 30.
Oh wow.
I moved up here when I was the summer I turned 30.
So it's been 30 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you had ever told me I would spend more time in Bakersfield than I did in Los Angeles, I would have.
That's kind of crazy for a guy from LA to move to Bakersfield and make it his home.
I would have never dreamed it.
Must have been the people.
My first year at Cal State, I would schedule all my classes Monday through Thursday so I could leave Thursday night just to spend 3 days in LA. I hated Bakersfield. Hated it.
So let me guess. Did a girl change it for you, Mr. Bailey?
To some
girl?
degree. To some degree.
I had a feeling.
And I just kept getting jobs. I was a correspondent for the Californian, and Mike Carlson, who was the cops kid, got a job as an English teacher in Australia. And I wasn't even going to apply. And one of the editors said, "I didn't see your resume in for the cops position." I was like, I don't know if I can write for a daily. I've only
For the
worked
cops position?
Yes,
What's
the
that?
cops
Oh, the
report.
law enforcement beat?
Cops report, yeah.
Okay. I didn't know they called it a cops report.
And I said, I've never worked for a daily. I don't think I can do it. He said, of course you can do it. And
You
I
didn't
did.
think it was too hard?
I just had never done daily, pumping out stories 5 days a week. I'd only worked at weekly newspapers.
I can see why you'd be nervous about that. That seems like a hard thing
Oh,
to do.
God, the first 2
Trying
weeks.
to find stories and stuff, that would be tough.
The hardest thing for me was being in a large newsroom. I would literally have to go out on 17th Street just to kind of collect my thoughts because it was so loud in the newsroom. I had never experienced
Is
that.
everybody clicking on their typewriters?
And yelling and screaming. You got Lois Henry over here. You got Bob Price over here. You got
Oh my
Rob
God.
Walters over here.
You had all those guys when you
Everybody
started?
screaming and yelling. I just spelled Mississippi. And then I'm just like, I can't take it. I would literally have to go and walk the block.
I can already hear
Just
Lois in my head saying,
Oh, just screaming and yelling. It's a great, when you get used to it, it's a great environment. It really
you
is.
just have to get in the zone.
You
huh?
do, but it takes a while. It really does. It's a different business.
And so you fell in love with it, and that's why you stayed in Bakersfield?
I know I got whacked, and then I got into television,
You
and
got whacked
I got fired.
from the newspaper?
Yes,
You're
yes.
kidding.
No,
They fired you?
well, it was a wrongful firing. I could have sued them.
Why did they? Can you talk about it?
Yeah, I've talked about it many
Why-
times.
why
I got
did they
into an
fire
accident.
you?
I got into an accident in Los Angeles with a woman on Robertson Boulevard.
Were you driving a
I was
Californian
driving
vehicle?
my Chevy Chevette, my little go-kart, and I rear-ended her. And when she found out that it was registered to Ralph, because the initial assessment, what do you call it, Chris? Initial
report?
When somebody gets their car looked at, the initial
not glance over. but
estimate. The
Yeah,
initial estimate was like $750, $1,000. I said, well, can I take care of that in time? She said, fine. Then she found out it was registered to Ralph MD. It was registered to my dad. And when she
said,
saw that, it went to $7,500. And I
Oh.
told her, I said, well, there's no way I can pay that. I don't know what you're going to do. Garnish my wages, do whatever you want. And I moved to Bakersfield. And she put a lien, she got a judgment against me, which suspended my license
You mean the person on the other side of the accident?
in Los Angeles.
Like, what does that have to do with your job as a Californian?
She got a judgment against me, suspended my license.
Okay.
And the Californian thought that I had known about it and was trying to hide it, which just didn't make sense.
Did it happen before you went to work for him or while you were working?
It happened
for
when I
him?
was living in LA. It happened before I went to Cal State.
And they fired you over that?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And then made up this lie that I'd lied about my age.
Wow.
Like because Try now is working for Channel 23. Because 2 weeks later, I get a job at 23. And I could have done exactly what I did at 23, get an SR 22 and got my license dismissed immediately. But they thought I was lying, I suppose. And Mr. Bean called me on a Saturday morning and said, we'd like to terminate the relationship.
Just like that.
Just like that.
So they just went,
Yeah.
and you were done.
Yeah. And then hired me 4 years later to write a column for him.
Why didn't you say?
Sons
And
of
I'd like to file a lawsuit, please.
Because I would have been done. I
Yeah,
would have
you can't-
won, but
you
I would
can't
have been
really- yeah,
cooked.
You would have won the battle, but lost the war.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And then I got hired
that
by
was a smart move.
I got hired by Channel 23 2 weeks later. And I got an SR 22 and I was driving around just like anybody. And then the end of the story.
For our listeners, an SR-22
Yes, go ahead, tell me.
is what?
Oh, it's a thing, I don't know, what you can get when your license is suspended and you get a temporary.
You can drive to and from work.
Right. And so now I'm working at Channel 23. And I'm happier than I've ever been. I'm like, it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
So good.
And I'm going to Mexicali to celebrate my first check. And George tells me that it's declined. And I said, what are you talking about, George? I literally just got paid today, dude. I'm celebrating my first
Wait, you wrote
TV check.
You wrote a check?
No. My card.
Oh.
I just got paid by 23. my
Okay,
check,
got it.
my
You're giving
paycheck.
them a credit card.
I'm giving him a credit card. He said, it's denied. And I said, it can't be. I just got paid. I just got my check. I'm celebrating my first television check, George. Run it again. And he said, nope, sorry. I called in and they said, there's a lien against your account. She had taken all the money I had ever had in my account.
And that's how you found out about it?
That's how I found out about it.
Wow.
And it ends very well. It's the proudest thing it's one of the proudest things in my life. It's the only time, Terry, I ever asked my parents for money as an adult. I didn't know what to do. In fact, they were living here and I went to my dad and I was almost in tears. And I was like, if you could just lend me just something to get me till for 2 weeks. And he gave me $1,000.
And that got you through.
Yeah.
How long did it take before she was paid off?
That was it.
Immediately?
That was the weird thing.
So
She took out like,
she took
well, I'm not gonna tell you what I was
6,500?
making.
She took out 6,500 and then another 1,000.
6,500. You think I was making 6,500
Well,
every
no,
2
I mean,
weeks?
I didn't know how much you had in your bank.
I think I was making
I mean,
like
don't reporters make tons of money, Mr. Bailey?
TV reporters, young TV reporters. No, I was making like 32,
I'm just teasing.
33.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah, but it was.
Well, that's too bad. I wish I had known you then, because there are things you could have done to stop that, and there are things that you could have done
Oh, and they
to
illegally
reduce it.
They illegally looked up my license.
The newspaper did?
Yes, they had Rob Walters, who would later become a very dear friend of mine. It was years later, Rob confessed that to me. He said, I was the one that they had look up your license. And I said, isn't that against the law? And he was like, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, well, the statutes run.
Yeah, exactly. But all it all ended well.
So one more question about this. I'm really intrigued by this thing that you had to go
Clearly.
through. I mean, you really didn't have to do it the hard way. There was other ways that you could have done it to reduce the amount that she took out of your check at a time so that you had money to live on. There's all kinds of things that you can do, but you didn't know that, did you?
I was leaving town. I thought I'd left it behind me. I was 28 years old.
You can
and
run away from trouble, but it always finds you.
I know.
So
It was a
here's my
stupid thing to
question.
do.
Why do you say that was one of your proudest moments?
But I never
your
asked
parents?
because most of my adult friends have started their business asking their parents for money, or after their divorce, they've asked their parents for money. I've asked my parents for money once my entire adult life.
It was
And I'm proud of
emergency,
that.
personal
And it was
emergency.
definitely emergency. I was broke.
Wow.
I was literally, I did not have a penny to my name.
Well, you might have had to move in with your parents.
I might have.
You wouldn't have been homeless. Could have been worse, right?
It could have been. It could have been. But it was
Anyway, that's nice. That's a good story, Ralph. I didn't know that.
bored the audience to tears.
I'm
with that
sure you
story.
did not. You think they've heard that before?
Once or twice.
Oh, sorry. That's the first time I've heard it. I think it's a good one.
Yeah, it was a horrible time.
Yeah,
It really was.
Judgment. That's not fun.
But it was great. It was really exciting to get fired from a newspaper and then have them watch me on TV 2 weeks later. That was kind of
Did
cool.
you go like this?
I really did. I really did. I really did.
You know, it's funny when you talk about judgments and paying off judgments and things. It reminds me, there were times when I was the county council, and I wasn't normally the one that would do this, but sometimes there are some people that the county would we'd get a judgment against on behalf of the county.
Right.
That you just kind of want to collect the judgment personally, in person, face to face.
Yeah.
And I can think of some times that were pretty funny, and the person would come and, talk to me and stuff, and, give me their spiel about, why they shouldn't have to pay the whole judgment, why they should only have to pay this or that or the other thing.
Right.
And boy, I can remember just saying, I feel your pain, but no, I'm not gonna modify the judgment in any way.
I don't blame you.
And
Good
then
for
you know what happened?
What?
Whips out the checkbook and pays off the whole thing.
Nice.
Yes, that happened 3 times.
Really?
And I believed them. I thought they were telling me the truth. They didn't have the money. They couldn't pay and all this stuff. But just like that little thing in the back of your head goes, well, maybe they're not telling the truth a little bit. And then, here comes the checkbook.
And the thing that bothered me is this woman was extremely wealthy.
So
And
why
I
did she-
barely touched her car.
Huh.
I was in my little Chevy Chevette, and she was in a 450 SL.
And she had insurance.
Yeah.
That's
and
that's kind of wild that she
she
would
went
do that.
after me. Yeah.
Maybe that's
Because
why
it took
she's
like
so-
2 years, or maybe, I don't know, my license was probably suspended the whole time I was in college.
Maybe that's why she's so wealthy, because
Because how
had
else would
pennies.
you know whether your license is suspended unless you get stopped when you get a judgment out of town?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. I mean, if you go to renew your license,
Right,
of course,
of
then you're going to find out. Or if you
Right.
get a ticket, probably
Exactly.
you would find out. But if you were a good driver and hadn't had to
I had
renew
no
your
idea.
license,
And the California thought for
wow,
sure.
she got a judgment against you,
Yeah.
and she didn't give you notice. That means her judgment was. We could relitigate this whole thing, Ralph. Get the
Well.
money back from her. What do you think?
It was my fault. It was my fault.
Sounds
All
like
right,
she didn't do it right.
we've got about 15 minutes.
So Zach Scrivener, you mentioned that you wanted to talk about what was going on with him,
Yes.
and I've been out of town, so I wasn't familiar with what was going on. So I read up what was happening, and his lawyer did file a motion for a mental health diversion. And have you ever heard of a mental health diversion before?
No.
There's actually a statute. There's a penal code provision if anyone wants to look it up, it's 1001.36. And it allows defendants who have a diagnosed mental disorder that is recognized by the DSM-5, which is the, I think it's the diagnostic something. That's the one that all the psychiatrists use, that you can, and it's related, if it played a significant role in the crime that you are alleged to have committed, and the defendant is amenable to treatment and is willing to waive their right to a speedy trial and consent to go into diversion process, then you can have diversion. But it's very interesting because the defense has to ask for it. It has to be supported by medical or psychological evaluations. And that's probably why Mr. Scrivener's motion is partially sealed, because I'm going to guess that it's sealed because they have some psych evaluations attached to it to show whatever it is that they're alleging that he suffers from. And you don't want that to be public, not initially at least. So if they can prove that, then he can be referred to a treatment program that is tailored to his needs, which could include therapy, medication, or other interventions. And it can last, the diversion program itself can last up to 2 years under California law. And when it's all done, when you finish the program, guess what happens?
Charges are dismissed.
The charges are dismissed and the arrest is deemed to have never happened, period. It's like a clean slate. And I found that very interesting. And there's been an increased uptick in the use of Penal Code Section 1001.36 in California recently. And there was a case, can't remember the name of it, in 2025 that said this thing about you have to have a mental disorder. It used to be it had to be diagnosed within 5 years of the crime. Well, that's not, they opened it up so you can have it whenever it's diagnosed, because the legislature wants people, that's a sign that the legislature wants people to be able to take advantage of this opportunity that you can have, but it's always going to be up to the judge. And the most important thing is that only certain types of there are certain types of crimes that are not amenable to this program. Meaning, if you're alleged to have committed a certain type of crime, you can't go into diversion on a mental health diversion. And the crimes that you can't get it, if you commit any of these crimes, you're toast. Murder or voluntary manslaughter, and here's the interesting one: most sex offenses, most, including rape, child molestation, use of weapons of mass destruction.
What is he charged with?
He is actually charged with 3 counts. I wrote this down. I actually pulled up a copy of the complaint, the criminal complaint.
And in layman's terms,
He's charged with 2 gun crimes and 1 having to do with child abuse with a minor. That's what he's charged with.
So why doesn't this fall under that umbrella? And what in layman's term, what are they saying about his mental capacity? Are they trying to say he's crazy?
No, they're saying that he suffers from this is, in order to get diversion, he has to convince the judge that he is suffering from a mental condition that's a recognized mental condition that is significantly connected to the crime that he's alleged to have committed and played a significant role in him having committed that crime. That's what it is.
This is the biggest travesty.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
But it's actually a law, and he's entitled to file that, and the judge is the only one that's going to decide it. And I think it's Judge Cannon who it's in front of.
Gloria Cannon.
And I think the hearing is in a few
next
weeks.
Thursday.
Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting. But some of the qualifying mental disorders, which I found very interesting, that people can have and get into this program: schizophrenia, bipolar, depression, anxiety disorders, post-traumatic stress disorder, obsessive compulsive and related disorders, personality disorders, including borderline personality disorders, dissociative disorders, like you don't know who you are at times, and then some kind of neurocognitive disorders related to a traumatic brain injury. So if you have one of those, you can be eligible for a diversion if it was significantly related to the crime that you committed, you're amenable to going to treatment, and you're willing to waive time.
What does this say about our community, Teresa?
About our community?
Yes.
Well, this is a state statute. So
no, this whole mess.
Oh, this whole thing?
This whole thing. The Cynthia calling Donnie sending his people, the Tehachapi police not having anything to do with it, him never going to jail, and him now certainly never going to sit 1 foot in jail.
Ralph, I think you're jumping the gun. Or what's that thing? Jump the shark or jump the
Jump the
gun?
gun.
I always get it. I
Jump
always get
the
it
gun.
wrong. What's
Jump
the
the
difference?
shark is
I always
when a
get that wrong.
television series goes bad.
Okay, so jump the gun. I think you're jumping the gun on this
You
because
think he's going to jail?
I think it's going to depend on whether Judge Cannon grants this motion or
Which
not.
she will.
I wouldn't be so sure.
I
really
don't see how
wouldn't.
she can. The guy's studying at Cal State to try to further his career. Ain't nothing wrong with that person. And I cleaned that up. He was high on mushrooms and he freaked out and he did something stupid and he should be punished for it.
Just like
And I
anybody
guess
else.
at the end of the day, his real punishment is he'll never have any kind of relationship with his children. I guess at the end of the day, that's God's punishment for this
That's
guy.
a big punishment.
That is a big
It's
punishment.
worse than anything. But
I don't think he gives a damn.
Here's the. Oh, I think he does. I think he
Why,
does.
what would make you think that? He
Because-
quit his job so he couldn't support his wife and his kids.
You don't know that.
Why did he quit his job?
I don't know. But you don't know that.
I
Ralph.
I get paid. I get paid every 2 weeks. To
I think
speculate.
that Zach Scribner loves his children very much. I do, and I say that because,
Really?
because
I do not.
I know Zach Scribner. I knew Zach Scribner when I worked when I was county council.
And I knew OJ.
Well, he was on
Well,
the
not
board of
really, but you
supervisors.
see the point I'm trying to make.
I was around him when some of his children were born. I know how proud he was to be a dad. I know how much it meant to him.
Teresa Golder, you
I-
are
really,
a
truly.
grown woman, and you know nobody knows anybody until you live with them.
That's true. That's
So
true.
he could be. He wouldn't have done what he did. He wouldn't have a knife scar in his back if he had a great relationship with his kids.
Mr.
He
Bailey.
would have supported his children. He would have continued to work. He would have supported his wife, who was supporting his children. And instead, he ducked out when they needed him most.
Mr.
That's
Bailey.
not love.
You don't know, but you don't know what happened. He's pled not guilty. And he doesn't have to plead guilty to go into this diversion program. He doesn't ever have to plead guilty to it. So he may never have a conviction.
No, we
and
knew
remember-
that. We knew that a week after the incident.
And remember what our law says.
You got the complexion for the protection, and you got the name for the protection.
The complexion for the protection.
That's right. That's
I haven't heard
right.
that.
A
You think
black
that's what it is?
guy would be underneath the jail right now. A Latino would be even further underneath the jail right now,
Well,
in my opinion.
I like to think that you're wrong on that.
I know, because you're a nice person and you don't see any bad in anybody. I'm a
Oh,
reporter.
no, I see bad in people.
I'm a reporter. I see bad in everybody.
But here's why I think you're jumping the gun on this.
Okay.
Because remember, it's up to the judge to decide.
Come on, Gloria.
She has to take a holistic approach to all of this, consider everything and all about Zach Scribner's life and the whole 9 yards and the alleged crime, and decide whether or not he's the kind of person that deserves this sort of treatment. And I'm going to say deserves in quotes.
Deserves what kind of treatment? The diversion?
The diversion
No,
program.
no.
But here's the thing. There are some things that that he cannot, if he's committed a crime that's related to these, he is not eligible for this diversion program. And I want to go through the list because it comes right from the statute. So most sex offenses requiring registration mean that he would not be eligible to get into this diversion program. And the sex offenses that would exclude him from this diversion program are rape, sodomy, lewd or lascivious acts with a minor. And that's under Penal Code Section 288.
But he wasn't charged with that.
Right. Oral copulation, continual sex abuse of a minor, sexual penetration by force or fear. And then there's also, no, that's pretty much all of them. But they didn't charge him with Penal Code Section 288.
No,
That's
because
very
Rob
interesting.
Bonta is Rob Bonta. He's a moron.
Why do you think they didn't do it because he's a moron?
I think it's all connected. Yes, I think, a fellow DA, a fellow prosecutor, even if she's a Republican, I'll do you solid. There's no other explanation.
Yeah,
I heard our sheriff say, I wouldn't be standing here if something didn't happen. And I believe Donnie Youngblood. And I believe the deputies that saw what was going on. I believe the boys. I think the state does not want the only witnesses to have to take the stand, which are the children. And I don't think the DA's office wants anything to do with Humberto Sala. I think when Humberto Sala takes a case, the DA's office runs for the hills and starts getting the papers to make a plea deal.
They would be wise to do that.
Exactly.
I think so.
Exactly. There, because there's nobody in that building. And I do mean no one in that building that's a better lawyer than Humberto Sala.
He's great. He's
And they are
terrific.
scared to death of him.
Well, I'm sure he wrote a very good motion. And I'm sure he's got all the exhibits attached to it that he needs to. But I want to go back and just clarify something. Zach Scribner was charged, one of the 3 counts, remember 2 weapons counts. And
Right.
the other count is violating Penal Code Section 273AA, which is child abuse under circumstances or conditions likely to cause great bodily injury or death. In that he did willfully and unlawfully under circumstances and conditions likely to produce great bodily harm. And then it goes on to say cause someone to get hurt.
Now,
So it's very general. That's not an excluded crime.
Is that the knife fight, or is that wheeling the gun around, or is that the touching of
I don't know.
the daughter?
That's the way the complaint reads. Don't
See,
know.
because I think that has something to do with the knife fight and
talk
him
about the
waving
knife.
around the gun.
They talk about the knife fight in here, in that same paragraph, but they're very vague on what it is that supposedly he did in these specific counts. In count one.
Well, of course they are.
In count one, here's the one that has to do with the child. 273A, it's the same code section.
Right.
And it says, did under circumstances likely to produce great bodily harm and death, to wit, sexually penetrate, injure, cause, and permit a child to suffer and be inflicted with unjustifiable physical pain and suffering. And then it goes on. That's the way they describe it in the criminal complaint. But that's section 273, and that's not lewd or lascivious acts under Penal Code Section 288. So technically speaking, he is still in the game as far as being eligible for a diversion program, and it's all going to depend on what the judge thinks.
Here is my magic wand.
Yes.
I'm making you Gloria Cannon. Make a
Oh.
decision.
Okay.
Give my pen
Okay.
back.
Well, I haven't seen the whole thing. I haven't read the whole thing.
But
I would deny the motion.
that a girl. You hear that, Gloria? Come on, girlie. Cannon family, talk to your auntie, your grandma, your mother, your pal. Come on, Gloria, do the right thing. This guy should be underneath the damn jail.
No, don't say
I'm sorry, I gotta fly. Teresa Golder, everybody. Yes, he should. He should be underneath the jail. Took a poll.
This is AM 1180.
That was a good answer.
Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield.
Meaning they're gonna throw it out.
KERNradio.com.
How she's gonna grant the
News this hour
diversion?
from Town Hall. I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. A case about faith-based
You're right.
LGBTQ conversion
You got more
therapy for
faith than I
kids
do.
was argued before the Supreme Court today, and justices seem to be leaning in favor of a Christian counselor who is challenging bans on such therapy.
Therapist Kaylee Childs argues that the ban is a violation of her First Amendment freedoms. Her attorneys argued on Tuesday that the laws passed in about half of U.S. states wrongly restrict voluntary faith-based therapy. The state argues the measure simply regulates licensed therapists by barring a practice that they say has been
course, it's
scientifically discredited and linked to serious harm. But the conservative majority court seemed unconvinced that states can restrict talk therapy aimed at changing feelings or behavior while allowing counseling that affirms children identifying as homosexual or transgender. Bob Agnew reports.
The federal government shutdown is a week old now, with no end in sight. As Republicans and Democrats fight over a stopgap funding bill, concern is growing nationwide over air traffic controllers.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said Monday that the government shutdown is putting more stress on air traffic controllers, who already have an extremely stressful job. Controllers are expected to continue working without a paycheck. According to Duffy, they are now worried about how to pay their
DA
bills in
doesn't want
addition
it.
to worrying
Solid
about
doesn't
keeping
want it.
flights safe. And there are now instances of controllers calling out sick, leading to delays at several airports. Bill Alexander, Washington.
A town hall panel discussing the closely watched mayor's race in New York begins this hour. It includes Salem radio hosts Hugh Hewitt and Mike Gallagher, along with influential New York voices in news and politics. Recent polls show Democratic Party socialist Zoran Mamdani with a comfortable lead over his closest rival, former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo. More on these stories at townhall.com.
They say timing is everything in the gold and silver markets, and it's true. Dennis Prager here for AmFed Coin and Bullion. Although you can buy at the right time, if you buy the wrong coins, you may not make a profit. When gold was $400 an ounce, many people were talked into buying high-grade old gold and silver collector's coins. Unfortunately, most of the people who bought these so-called semi-numismatic coins, like the $20 St. Gaudens and Liberty Head gold coins, have not broken even on their investment. Incredible, given that gold has risen approximately 525% since then. So while timing is everything, if you buy the wrong coins, the timing simply doesn't matter. Having a dealer who cares about positioning you in the right types of coins or bullion will mean more to your portfolio than anything else. That's why I deal with Nick Rovich and AmFed Coin and Bullion. Whether you're buying or selling, call 800-221-7694. That's 800-221-7694. Or go to AmericanFederal.com. AmericanFederal.com.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local
I even know
news
his
update
secretary.
on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180.
That was great. Are you kidding me?
I'm John
bored him
Shearer.
to death with my fire.
Reportedly, a motion has been filed seeking a mental health diversion in the case against former county supervisor Zach Scrivener. He faces multiple felony charges. The motion is under seal, so specifics are unavailable. A hearing on the motion is scheduled for next week. Some believe, if granted,
I
could
too.
be
I
a
was
way
friends
for him
with
to
him.
avoid jail time.
I was supposed to go before
California
this, the
Highway
summer
Patrol is
before this
reporting the
happened.
largest
I was
group
supposed
of
to
new
go to
officers
Arizona
since
with
December
him,
2009
Kevin
just graduated
Burton,
from the CHP Academy.
Stanley
To graduate,
to a
cadets
Dodger,
must endure 26 weeks of rigorous training.
I know.
The new
I was all
officers will
excited.
now report
And then
to
this
one
erupted.
of 102
I would've
CHP
never-
area offices.
I've known
Over
the guy for
600
years. I've told you
CHP
my famous-
officers have been sworn in this year.
Yes.
Two men were
absolutely.
reportedly arrested
I've
in
told you my
connection with
famous
a homicide
Zach Scrivener story. It's the
investigation.
night that
An 18-year-old man was shot
Fuller
and
got
killed
elected.
shortly before 1 a.m. on Sunday
And
in the
there's an older
3400
woman,
block of
this
Meadow
is 20
Vista
years
Court in Bakersfield. The investigation is ongoing.
I
If
believe
you
he
have any
did.
information, the Bakersfield
And
Police Department would like to hear from you. Vote by mail ballots went out to all active registered voters on Monday. Secretary of State Shirley Weber said voters have several options for returning their completed ballot early, but cautions if mailed,
And
they
he's
should
like,
be
"Mom."
sent out a few days before Election Day. That's
was
due to
like,
changes made by the
this is
U.S.
20 years
Postal
ago.
Service. Under the
I
new
know.
process,
And I was just
mail
like,
dropped off at
"Dude,
post
I'm so
offices
sorry."
and mail collection
I
boxes
didn't know
more
that
than
was your
50 miles
mother.
from a regional hub is collected the next
I know.
day. This
Yeah.
means ballots dropped off at those post offices or mailboxes on Election Day won't
good
be
friends-
postmarked
she's
until
good
the
friends with
next
Kat.
day, making them late, and late ballots are not counted.
Oh, of course.
I'm John Shearer in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? The army when you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get a pose like this. Bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180
Now
KERN.
make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to
Not gonna try.
661-842-KERN.
I'll go double.
661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live, kernradio.com. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, our good friend Jeff Salters, owner, operator, Salty's Barbecue, and the title sponsor for our Honor Flight fundraiser, which begins next week. Honor Flight 52 wheels up on Monday morning, returning on Wednesday. And then that following Thursday, we are going to raise, with your incredible, magnanimous help, $50,000 to donate to Honor Flight Kern County. And I'm counting on you guys to help us out. Every little bit helps. It really does. But we'll talk with Jeff at the bottom of the hour. And we might cut. I was going to re-air the Teresa Golder interview. We might cut out all that Bailey nonsense at the beginning and just run the last 15 minutes of it from Scrivener. It was like, what do we start at? Where do we start at the bottom of the hour? 35?
I know exactly where it's at, but
We started talking about Scrivener at
it
44.
was a solid 15 minutes.
No, it was 44 when we started.
Oh, I know.
Talk
because
about.
you run. You got to remember, you run up until 59.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. 44 to 59.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's a solid 15 minutes.
Yeah,
maybe.
we don't have to run that. My history, they've heard that story 100 times. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Let's check the board. Anything?
I got a couple here.
What do you got?
Did you listen to the Senate's oversight hearing today with AG Bondi? She didn't cooperate with the state Senate's questioning and wouldn't answer questions. This is an accountability committee, and she's just so arrogant. But we did get the R. John Kennedy questions that Jeffrey Epstein was a great blackmailer, and he had a video of high-powered rich clients.
Well, I don't know about all that. I'm not going to get into that. I can't speak to that. I did not watch Pam Bondi today. She was all over, the news mix. But it is the Trump cabinet manner of answering a subpoena and addressing the Senate or even a congressional committee. Where, ask me a question, Chris. Any question.
What was your father's maiden name?
Well, Chris, my father's name is nothing to laugh about because you once produced a show with a man named Scott Cox who calls his producer Billy. So you're the last one that should be asking about names. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm getting at? Where they don't answer the question and they somehow come out of nowhere and attack the questionnaire. Kash Patel did it last week. Do you hear what he called? And I didn't disagree with what he was saying, but it was the method of his answering where he called Adam Schiff a buffoon and boop, boop, boop. This is the Trump cabinet way of responding. We're not going to answer the question. We'll attack the questioner. And that's just the way it is because Pam Bondi is just as incompetent as the rest of them. She just has the trust of Trump. But I'm telling you, this whole cabinet, Bondi, Hegseth, Patel, and Wormboy, the guy with the worm in his head, Bobby Kennedy, are just a bunch of numbskulls who have no business in government. Not at this level. None whatsoever. They're incompetent as all get out. And I can bring up many, many examples. The head of the FBI telling the world, we have found Charlie Kirk's killer. Huh? What? Wait a second. No, we haven't. That was some old man we picked up. Come on, y'all. The head of the FBI goes out and tells me, and then Hegseth has this 800 general convention that he thought he was going to have on his own until the boss said, no, I'm coming. You ain't doing this by yourself. And he talks about warrior ethos. And the only thing that he did say that I do agree with is the rules of engagement. They're a joke and they need to be looked at and re-examined. But all this other nonsense, I think the whole cabinet is a joke. And their only qualification is that they'll take a bullet for their boss. And he loves that. He absolutely loves that. They cannot start a meeting without each one of them saying, before I get started, I just want to thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership on this. The Ralph Bailey Show would have never got up off its feet without the help of you, Mr. President, and the incredible leadership that you've shown throughout the Ralph Bailey Show in the 13 years he's been in American General Media. So I just want to thank you, Mr. President, for all that you've done for the Ralph Bailey Show and its sponsor. I mean, it's just, it's like, it's almost as equal to the other side, which of course suffers from Trump, what is it? Trump delusional, Trump dysphoria, derangement, whatever. They're obsessed with the guy, as is the other people, just on a totally different level. What else you got?
Hey, Ralph, this is Kane. Question.
This is who?
If our beloved
is it?
Dodgers.
Who'd they say this?
Kane.
Kane.
Kane, yeah.
Kane.
Cain and Abel.
Not eight. I was going to say. You see, blew my joke.
I'm sorry. You're going that far. If our beloved Dodgers win it all again this year,
which
will
I
you
think they
finally get
can,
Dave Roberts back?
No. Did you not see what happened last night? He had the audacity with Roki Sasaki out there. He had the audacity to bring in Blake Trinan. And you really think we should get off his back? Every Dodger fan on the planet had to have been like, you have got to be kidding me. And then bang, base hit, bang, base hit. And then I'm sitting there screaming at Chris, don't throw him a strike. Don't throw him a strike. He throws him a strike on the outside half of the plate, and the guy snacks it in the left field. So no, I won't get off his back. The man has 3 MVPs in the first 4 batters of his lineup. I'm pretty sure I could win the division 12 out of 13 years with 3 MVPs and arguably the best player in baseball. Are you kidding? No, I won't. Look, I think he's a really nice man. We had George Culver on who confirmed that. And even George said, maybe I'm misreading him, but he kind of implied I'm not fully on board with him as a manager, but he said he's a really nice guy. He's a player's manager. He didn't call the wheel play. He didn't call that. That was Mookie, Edman, and Muncy. And then when he came to the mound, they told Dave, and at least Doc was good enough to say, handle it. If y'all can execute it, let's do it. But no, if we win this thing, we've won it on talent. I will give him credit for last year's championship. He's a good manager. Don't get me wrong. Because think about it, we won a World Series game with a bullpen. That's pretty impressive on his part and the moves that he made. But I just think sometimes he makes decisions that just befuddle me, like bringing in Blake Trinan. If we ever see Blake Trinan again this season, it'll be too soon. One more. Let's take a break.
I just got one more here for you. It says, Ralph, you noticed that they didn't charge him with being under the influence high on mushrooms. I think that would disqualify him from pleading the mental case.
God, I wish you would have called in while we had Teresa here. That is an outstanding question. Why were the drug charges thrown out? That is that has never popped in my mind. That is a great question. The whole thing is just a travesty. And this boy is not going to jail. We knew that. We knew that when they didn't take him to jail the night that it happened. He was wielding a gun around children. He was in bed with his daughter. He took a knife from one of his kids. So something was going on up there. And he to this day hasn't spent one moment behind bars. And again, like I said, karma's a son of a gun. And when his children are adults and he's in his 50s and his 60s, it's going to be a difficult relationship they're going to have because they don't really understand what's going on right now, in my opinion. Even the teenagers, they really don't understand. When they get 25, 30, and they start understanding what these people like their dad are about, that's going to be a tough relationship. And what he's put their mother through, and when they understand how he quit his job just not to pay her, I don't know that for a fact, but why else would he quit his job? And now he's taking business classes out of Cal State, so he's in his right mind. He's trying to further his career and has the audacity to stay in this community. But I think at the end, God has his way, and that'll be his punishment. That he will have, I can't imagine growing old. I don't have any children, but if I had, growing old and not having a relationship with my children. And that'll be his punishment because he ain't going to jail. No way in the world this thing goes to trial.
How are you a professor and teach him with a straight face, too? I'm not trying to throw any blame on them or anything, but I don't know if I'd be able to do it. If you'd really read your roster sheet, you see Zach Scrivener there, and you're a well-connected person.
Presumption of innocence. It's just such a shame. It's just our system is it's the best, but it's so flawed. We talked about the kid that stuck a knife in a kid's neck that got 6 years. The whole system is just depends on who you are. That's basically what the system. There's no equality in the justice system. There really isn't. It depends on who you are, what you look like, how much money you have. That's the reality of it. And if you have enough money, like Orenthal James Simpson or Robert Blake or if you've got the right name, Zach Scrivener, you can do whatever the hell you want. You can manipulate the system any way you want. You get a high-powered, skillful lawyer who is, private attorneys are so far beyond prosecutors. And it's no smack on prosecutors, but smart private attorneys can run circles around prosecutors, and prosecutors have the advantage. That's why their prosecution rate is like 92%. They've got investigators, they've got the cops, they've got witnesses, they've got everything on their side. But let me tell you something. Everybody in that building in Truxton is shaking in their boots of having to go into trial against H.A. Sala. There's no way in the world this thing, and yes, I know it's the AG's office. I know it's Bonta and those knuckleheads. It's the same thing. You don't think they're dealing with this through the DA's office? You really don't? You don't think that Cynthia Zimmer is talking to Rob Bonta? Come on, y'all. Let's get real. Let's get real for a second. You don't think there's anybody in the DA's office that's been talking to the AG's office? Okay. All right. I'm just saying, it's a massive travesty. And his ultimate punishment will be when that little girl figures out all that went on. And it's sad. It's really, really tragically sad. We'll take a short time out and come back. The Jay Jones story totally being ignored by the liberal media. CNN didn't run it. My girlfriend, Abby Phillip, didn't have it on her show at all. And all it is a guy that's running for attorney general who said that he hoped that, a couple of years ago, he hoped that the Speaker of his house in Virginia, and the Commonwealth thereof, that his children would die so his wife could know suffering, so maybe she would change her policy. And that if he had 3 bullets, one would be for the Speaker, one would be for Pol Pot, and one would be for Hitler. But he said, I'd give 2 to the Speaker. In this era of trying to de-escalate political violence, this guy is on record, and the Democrats aren't running from it. We'll delve into that in just a little bit. And then Jeff Salters from Salty's Barbecue join us. Talk about a big week for Honor Flight. Flight 52 is leaving on Monday, and then when we return on Thursday, we're going to raise $50,000 thanks to your incredible help. It is our 9th annual Honor Flight fundraiser. Got to step aside. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Tuesday, right here on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, and we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Wednesday edition of the First Look program, we'll talk semi-glutides with our friend Dr. Viv Dev. John Cox will be joining us. We'll have the news quiz. I will kill it. We'll back all of that up with state-of-the-art news, traffic, and weather the way we always do. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day. No one can beat us. No one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare. We don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Oh no, Dad, I spilled juice on the carpet.
Don't worry, kiddo. We have stain-resistant carpet from Carpet Outlet Plus.
Dad, look, he dumped his water bowl all over the new floors.
Everything is fine. We have brand new waterproof floors from Carpet Outlet Plus. You can find everything you need for family-proof floor at Bakersfield's best flooring store. Now offering 1-year, no-interest financing. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-1783. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-1783. That's 800-575-1783. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage California can count on.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now
Okay.
back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
State firefighters are not happy with Governor Newsom. I don't know many people that are, but he vetoed a bill that would give them a raise. According to the Los Angeles Times, LA City firefighters make $85,315 a year. State firefighters make $54,000. Newsom said the bill would put, quote, significant cost pressures, end quote, on state coffers, and argued it would, quote, circumvent the collective bargaining process. In a letter to the CAL FIRE union, the bill would have set a wage floor for CAL FIRE employees to within 15% of the average of 20 local departments. It would have cost the state $373 million to $609 million in its first year. A 2023 report from the California Department of Human Resources found CAL FIRE staff lagged behind 20 surveyed local fire departments by 87.5%. But, quote, when factoring in the expense of other pay and benefits, the average total compensation lag dropped to 16.7, which is still pretty doggone significant. It's also important to recognize that state firefighters are scheduled to work more hours than the surveyed local fire departments, 156 days a year for state firefighters compared to 121 days for the local fire departments, according to a report. And this is despite the fact that in the legislature, it was damn near unanimous. So Newsom's lost another group as he runs for president. He's just, I don't see how this guy thinks that he could convince the rest of America that he was a good governor when his approval rating isn't even at 50% of the state. And anybody that runs against him is going to bring up, if you're smart, you're going to bring up high-speed rail. You're going to bring up the fires, the lack of water, the fact that he's not paying state firefighters, what, less than a year after these massive fires? The manner in which he cleaned up San Francisco when Xi from China was coming here. Other than that, his reign as mayor of San Francisco was a disaster. He turned the place into a urine-infested, needle-riddled, just city that I didn't recognize, that I didn't want to go to anymore. I remember the last time I was in San Francisco, and like in San Francisco, I was in Walnut Creek fairly recently, but I mean like in San Francisco. So with Tony Tarango, we were having dinner outside and almost got into a fight with a homeless guy. because I was telling Tony, we were sitting there having dinner, and Tony he asked us for money, and I was like, I'm sorry, bro, I don't do that. And Tony started reaching in his pocket, and I'm like, Tony, don't give this guy any money. And he said, why don't you shut up, young buck? And I was like, who do you think you're talking to, old man? I'll slam your nasty, stinky mind. You got funky. I was a much younger man at the time. But it was just that kind of thing. And he reeked to high heaven, a smell that, like, that homeless smell is just, I don't know. In fact, we're efforting an interview with Carlos Bellavides. He's doing a 24-hour type marathon tomorrow to draw attention to the homeless situation, seeking answers. Beyond mental institutions, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how you retrieve these people. You could give them homes, you give them palatial estates, they'd be right back on the streets. It's mental illness, it's drugs, it's the revolving door of prisons and jails, and it's life. It's what we were all raised on. Decisions. And they have ramifications. And, you know, we literally can't be our brother's keeper. We can't. We cannot, this isn't sustainable. It's not tenable. And Flood Ministries and Carlos and so many different organizations do an unbelievable job of try to mitigate this situation. But at the end, we're not doing these people any good by giving them money or giving them temporary shelter. We've got to get these people institutions where people can help them and maybe let them have a normal life where they can go outside and get exercise with a group. But to let them waller on the streets and insist that we can get them into housing and get them clean and up on their feet, it's just a dream. It's a fantasy. It's an absolute fantasy. I admire all that are trying to fulfill the fantasy, but I'm sorry, I believe it is a fantasy. What do I know? I do know that next week is a gargantuan week for On a Flight Kern County. And to help us kick it off, our good friend Jeff Salters will join us after the break. Then coming up at 5, we will re-air our Scrivener portion of our interview with Teresa Golder in the 5. You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. I would stick around if you.
News Talk 96.1.
Zombie! I gotta take a lap.
With SRN News, I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. The Supreme Court seems skeptical about state bans on conversion therapy. The court's conservative majority seems likely to side with a Christian counselor who's challenging the bans on First Amendment grounds. Justice Samuel Alito said the Colorado law being challenged looks like blatant viewpoint discrimination. The White House and Republican leaders in Congress are threatening to withhold back pay from furloughed federal workers when the government shutdown is over. Meanwhile, Democrats aren't budging on their health care demands as a condition for ending the week-old government shutdown. Israel marked the somber second anniversary of the Hamas terror attack today with a series of commemorations. Meanwhile, negotiators met in Egypt for a second day in hopes of reaching a ceasefire and releasing the hostages. Wall Street stocks sank to their first loss in 8 days.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm John Shearer. Reportedly, a motion has been filed seeking a mental health diversion in the case against former county supervisor Zach Scrivener. He faces multiple felony charges. The motion is under seal, so specifics are unavailable. A hearing on the motion is scheduled for next week. Some believe if granted, this could be a way for him to avoid jail time. The California Highway Patrol is reporting the largest group of new officers since December 2009 just graduated from the CHP Academy. To graduate, cadets must endure 26 weeks of rigorous training. Over 600 CHP officers have been sworn in this year as the department continues its statewide push to enhance public safety. I'm John Shearer in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Please meet Paul Sheldon's client, Marilyn Bull.
Hi, my name is Marilyn Bull. I heard of Paul Sheldon through my husband. So when I retired, I decided I'm going to go to him too. And I'm very pleased. The experience with Paul Sheldon has been great. Every question you asked, he had an answer for. He was patient and explained everything to where you could understand it. So I'm glad I had him to go to because otherwise I would be confused. I would recommend Paul Sheldon to anybody because it is so much easier to go there and have someone actually show you and explain to you what your options are. And when you leave there, if you still didn't quite understand, you can always call and even make an appointment with you and rediscuss the whole thing. I also have recommended it to my sister. Thank you, Paul Sheldon, for all your help, and I wouldn't know what to do without you.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
That is a big ass truck, boy.
Coming up on the Wednesday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, the spying by the weaponized FBI on a whole bunch of Republican senators. We'll talk to Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin about this situation. We'll also look at the latest on the Trump showdown with deployment of National Guard elements to Democrat-run cities. How's that looking? What are the judges saying? What's Trump doing? That's all coming up on Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Eight 842-5376-842-KERN is those that are subscribing on YouTube can see. Owner, operator, restaurateur, and overall good egg and honor flight bus leader, Jeff Salt is live in studio. How are you, Salty?
I'm doing fantastic, Mr. Ralph. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Did we get you on the flight? I know we were kind of working.
We did.
We did.
We did. I'm going. I'm going.
You need to be on my bus then.
I know you got to work that out.
I'm about to work that out because
Yeah,
we
you
got
gotta work
me.
that out.
Hold on. You know what?
Who else?
What do you say? Hold on a moment.
Please stand by.
Please stand by.
Who else is going?
Mike Hart.
On our bus?
On our bus.
Oh, you got to get me on that bus. You got to get me on that bus. Lily's listening. Lily, can I go on his bus, please? They normally hook me up and put you on your bus, and then of course you leave me at the hotel.
Yeah.
Running Ralph. Yeah, we've all heard that story, Jack.
I did that. There's a couple of events. I did an event the other day. Yeah. Oh, it was on a flight breakfast. The guy was like, "Oh yeah, and Jeff, he's the one that came up with Running Ralph."
Running Ralph. And then when I had to run in because I was late getting back from an event, Jeff tapes me running to the hotel. And you know, at my age, I used to be able to look kind of smooth running, but at my age,
you're huckabucking.
What's that old man running down in Virginia? It's embarrassing. But it's a big week for Honor Flight.
It is a big week.
Big week.
We got 2 big weeks, really, right? Does this start next week, or is it?
It starts next week, and we the culminates the Thursday. The day after we get back, we're going to raise $50,000.
Well, I've got something special to throw in there.
Yeah, what do you got?
So Ken, one of the gentlemen that bought one of the Flight 50 hats.
Yeah.
So, we did 2 hats. We had all the guys sign. So between 2 hats, we had every veteran sign from Flight 50.
Nice.
Which is a historic flight.
Yeah.
The gentleman who bought one of the hats passed away.
Oh, really?
His widow gave me that hat.
Really?
Said he wants to make more money with it.
Auction it off or something?
Put it out there.
That'd be great.
So, we'll put it out there, and I'll bring it with me. Maybe Thursday we'll come in next week, and I'll come in and we'll see it up there.
Okay. All right.
I can tell everybody right now the minimum it'll go for is $2,000.
Okay.
That's
good.
what he paid for it.
Is that right?
Uh-huh.
Well, good. There we go. That's
so
outstanding.
if you want to do that and honor that, and put it out there.
absolutely.
But this is signed by from the veterans from Flight 50. There's a sister hat to it somewhere out there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm sure he probably listens to the show still, but you never know. Maybe he'll want to put the two together and have the complete collection. That'd be pretty awesome.
Yeah. How'd you first get involved? What was your first knowledge of Honor Flight?
So tomorrow is actually my anniversary of the restaurant. We opened October 8th, 2012.
Really?
Yeah. And so it's crazy in 13 years.
That is. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So we were coming around to 2013, our first anniversary, and Honor Flight had gone on their first or second flight, I think. Just kind of hearing about it. It was in the infancy stages of it, and I wanted to do something for my anniversary, to celebrate. Hey, it's Salty's 1 year anniversary. We made it, right?
Not a lot of restaurants do, boy.
And so instead of just kind of having an anniversary and everybody come buy a bunch of barbecue and I put more money in my pocket, I was like, I want to do something. So I reached out to Honor Flight and Lily, and Lori Crown at the time was there involved, and a couple of different people said, hey, look, I want to do a fundraiser at my restaurant on Rosedale Highway on this day and to celebrate my anniversary. And they're like, perfect. We had Jeeps and deuce and a half trucks out there. And we had back in the day, you could park on Rosedale Highway.
Yeah.
And we had that place covered up, man. We had Jeeps with 50 cal guns sitting on top of them, everything, balloon arches, and big old Honor Flight folks were out there. And we raised about $4,000 that day to give to Honor Flight.
Nice.
So so I've done that every year on October 8th. I've donated 10% plus to Honor Flight to help send veterans to Washington, D.C.
Nice.
And so we're somewhere north of $25,000 that we've raised over the last 13 years.
Very nice.
So that's
Very
not counting the other stuff. That's just from that day, not
Yeah.
counting the other stuff we've done.
Yeah.
But it's been an awesome opportunity. People come out and they support it. And, we've had buckets out there in the past. Sometimes they get money in them, sometimes they don't. Just, the 1 year that we did not do that was in 2018, the Las Vegas shootings.
Yeah.
And that was the year that one of my employees, his father was one of the victims.
Oh, is that
And
right?
so on our anniversary, we did the fundraiser.
One of the 4 fatal victims? Oh,
one
my
of the
God.
58. He's one of the 58.
Wow.
Yeah, it was Jack Beaton.
Oh, we were just talking about
Yeah,
it.
just
When we
last
named
week.
the 4. Yeah, we
last week.
commemorated it.
Yep, absolutely. Jack Beaton was one of them. Then we were really good friends with the Schweitzer family, with Bailey and
Yeah.
them. So yeah, it's just
That's
so
horrible.
that year for our anniversary, we did a fundraiser and all the money went toward. In fact, I remember I talked to Lily and then a couple other people said, "Hey, look, I know I do this every year. I don't know if you were expecting it or not, but this happened." They're like, "We'll be there to help."
Yeah.
And we raised $10,000 for the family.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
Very nice.
pretty incredible. Community came out in just an amazing, incredible way. But that's who we are, right? As Bakersfield, as
Oh,
Tarrant
it
County,
totally
as-
is. Totally is. The most
they're-
gracious, giving,
Yeah.
looking out for my neighbor community I've ever lived in my life.
We're
Not even
taking
close.
we're taking 102 guys to DC on a charter flight
Yeah.
because of this community.
You think the shutdown, if it's still going on, will have any impact? Because most of the memorials are outdoor memorials that we go to. I can't think of anything
Yeah,
indoors, really.
The only issue that I've seen is
the naval one.
the
is-
restrooms.
That's what I was just saying. at the
Yeah,
top
so
of
the
show.
restrooms are going to be if it's still shut down, the restrooms will be the issue.
Yeah.
And I know, we're in our communication. They're working, making sure that all our buses have good, very well functioning restrooms. But that'd be the biggest issue
Yeah.
that I see. Every place else we're going to go, we're going to walk around. We're going to get to
They're
see things.
outdoors.
Yeah, so we're going to get to see that stuff. I don't know if we think about Lincoln to get inside to the elevators, if that might be
The elevators.
the elevators to get up to the Lincoln Memorial.
I've never taken the elevator.
Where you been?
I like to walk.
Well, the walk is good for you.
What you mean on the left side? Where
And when you go up the left side, there's a little room you can go
I
in.
did not know
You've
that.
never been in that room?
I have never been in that room. The
Dude,
5 times I've
if it's open this time,
yeah.
we need to go in that room. It's an
Okay.
incredible room. It tells the history of how they built it, and it's a cool little room.
I learned something every trip.
Yeah.
I was eavesdropping on who was talking to his class out in front of Lincoln.
Mhm.
And he was telling his class there is a gold spot in front of Lincoln where Dr. King gave his I Have a Dream speech.
Oh, really?
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, really?
I got to run up the
Can
stairs.
you tell me where it is? I'm sorry, kids. I don't mean to eavesdrop. But can you tell me where it is? And he's like, yeah, it's right up here. And I had never known
I
that.
did not know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll show it to you.
I'm telling you that I tell people all the time that they talk about, I want to go, I should go. I said, go as a guardian, You've never been to DC. I said, go as a guardian.
Yeah.
I said, 2 things will change your life. 1 is being with that veteran and
Yes.
seeing the impact in their lives.
Exactly.
2 is getting a carte blanche tour of DC. I mean,
Visiting
literally.
the U.S. House of Representatives.
Exactly. I mean, who gets
That's
to do
to
that?
me.
Yeah, and that
as
may
a-
not happen for us. I think we are
I
going to
bet
do
Vince
that.
will do it.
Yeah, Vince. I think we are getting a Capitol.
Yeah, that is remarkable. It started with Mr. McCarthy, who was the minority leader, and I don't think we were around when he was the speaker.
Yeah.
Were
Uh-huh.
we?
Yeah, he was
And
speaker over there.
he would bring us into the house, and he would let somebody vote, and you could see how they vote. And there's a story of the Puerto Rican shot.
Yeah, the bullet hole's still there.
Bullet hole's still there, and it's so amazing to be in the house because you've seen it on television so many times, and you think it's this coliseum, and it's really not. It's
No,
really
it's-
a tiny little room where Donald Trump, if he wanted to, when he looks up at Melania, and you think that he's like miles away, he could throw a baseball like this to Melania. It's that close, and it's just so cool to see those veterans get exposed to that.
When we get in there, I think I've done it just about every time I've gone there. I walk to the back door
Yeah.
and I walk down,
Oh, I do that too. I do that.
shaking hands.
I do that. Mr. Speaker,
Ah.
the President of the United States, Jeff Salters.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You gotta walk.
You got to do the walk.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Look at that.
Yeah.
But we are in such a minuscule number of people when you think about this that have been in that house.
Yes.
In that chamber.
Citizens.
And
You're right.
you and I, multiple occasions.
Yes. Isn't that crazy?
It's one thing to get there once.
Right.
Like, oh, that was awesome. It's another thing to go in there and go, hey, by the way, guys, make sure you put your phones up. Yeah, you can't take them in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, every time I got in there, one time I was talking to somebody, oh, let me go with my phone. I was looking at my pictures. I'm like, oh, you can't take your phone in there.
Yeah. No, you can't. No, you
Then
can't.
you look online, right? You see them, they're all in there on their phone. Why can't we take a phone in there?
Well, I think it's mainly because we're not Congress members, Jeff.
That could be. I'm
Talk
sorry.
to-
I thought that they put their pants on, those who wear pants,
Yeah.
one leg at a time, just like I did. But I can't.
No, they get some extra love.
They get a little extra love.
yeah, they get
Membership
extra
has
love.
its privileges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking with restaurateur owner Jeff Salters, talk to family members, friends who know veterans, who they've addressed, and the veterans have said no, which explain to them that is common.
It's very common.
Almost to a person.
I had probably a 30-minute conversation last year, early this year, late last year, with a veteran at my restaurant. And he's like, not going, not interested. And so I sat down and I said, well, tell me why. And he just kind of started explaining some things and this, that, and the other. And as I began to listen to him, I began to just tell him why he should and help them understand some things. And at the end of the process, he says, I'll have my wife put an application in.
Good.
Right. And so
Good.
I think when we're talking about honor flight, what we have to get, and this is where I tell them all the time, I said, look, you've got friends, right? He goes, yeah. I said, you've got brothers in arms. I said, when you go on honor flight, you gain a whole group of them back. And that's what happens. I said, you go on this flight, you come back, you're going to have another brotherhood. I said, when you went in the military, you had a group that you served with, that you loved, and they were your brothers, and you had their back. He goes, yeah. I said, when you come back from this trip, you'll get a new set of them.
Yeah. And they all meet the first Thursday
Yeah.
of the
And
month.
they're
for
incredible.
Breakfast.
I talk about the Rat Pack all the time, George and all the guys and Al, all those.
Yeah.
No, they're a bunch of crazies. They're out there, man. I'm in a text group with those guys. They'll blow you up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bunch of 75 plus 80-year-old guys are texting like crazy, man. They are active, involved, and moving. And I tell them that. I said, look, there's a group of guys that meet. They meet at the Portrait of Warrior Gallery every Wednesday. They meet there for their PTSD groups.
Yeah.
These guys are actively involved, and all of this is a result of honor flight.
Yeah.
It's when you look at, well, what's the common denominator for all these guys? Thousands now, right?
Yeah.
We're over the hundreds.
Oh, easy.
We're in the
Easy.
thousands.
Easy.
Thousands of veterans in this
We've
community.
just the money that we've raised. We've sent
Yeah.
over 150, close to 200 veterans.
Yeah. So thousands of veterans in this community today are connected more than they've ever been because of honor flight.
Yeah.
Thousands of veterans today have dealt with and are dealing with their trauma, their PTSD, more than they ever have because of Honor Flight. I personally had a friend of mine, an older gentleman, that he used to go to our church years and years ago. And I remember my pastor, who was also a Vietnam vet, would counsel him like weekly because he couldn't sleep. He'd wake up in terrors. And he was sometimes violent, and his wife would have stayed in another room because he went on a flight probably 4 or 5 years ago. He's since passed away. But his wife said it was the best thing that ever happened. She goes, I got my husband back.
Yeah. When they find out they've got brothers in arms that
Absolutely.
are going through what they're going through, and they can talk about it
Go
at
to the
breakfast
wall,
and lunch.
right? That healing, that actual, and this was a lot of the guys that we're dealing with now are all Vietnam guys, right? And for a lot of them, the wall is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's facing that finality of their brothers, those the ones that they lost, that they were next to, that they
Right.
were standing next to, that they jumped off the helicopter with,
Yeah.
whatever that was.
Yeah. What have you seen the makeup of this group?
I know we have a 100-year-old female World War II.
Really?
That I can't remember if she's a vet or she's a Rosie Riveter. I think she was. I can't remember if she was a nurse or Rosie. I can't remember.
Okay.
But she's 100 years old.
That's
And,
outstanding.
yeah, I mean, I think there's 3 or 4 that are up in that category.
World War II.
Yeah, and then predominantly Vietnam guys.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that's where we're at, right? We're
course.
fortunate in our county that we've been so active with 52 flights now coming up that we've been able to take so many people, and we've pretty much exhausted that. And every now and we've even the World War II guys we find, most of them are from not outside our county.
Yeah.
A little because we want to take them. If they're Ventura and Lancaster, whatever, we'll get them over here. We'll take you. You deserve to go.
And we still have World War II veterans alive in this community.
Oh yeah.
They're, I think, in over 1,000.
Yeah. We just
So get them
celebrated-
on these planes, man.
Yeah.
Get them on these planes.
Yeah. So we just celebrated, his life, but Walt Granger passed away. And his
Really?
his memorial.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, because he was. It was his. They actually had it in one of the videos on a napkin or piece of paper, which was his sketch of the World War II memorial.
Really?
He was the genesis of that. Yeah.
Of what?
The World War II memorial.
Really?
Yeah, he was.
What was his connection to it?
He's a World War II vet, and he wanted to have something, and so he kind of got it going. And he was on the board. He served on it. He was part of the design of it. I mean, he was intricately involved in it.
That's one of the most amazing things in the world to me, that it took them 50 years to construct that.
And you know what?
Like really?
Well,
50s,
yeah.
60s, 70s? It didn't dawn on them. Maybe we should commemorate the greatest generation.
So at his memorial, it was an incredible memorial. But people would ask Walter, Walt, how you doing today? And he'd say this statement, better every day. And he was always, that was his answer, better every day. And I had the pleasure and a great privilege to speak at it. And so I got to speak, and when I got done, I talked about Walt and his faith, and that he was with Jesus.
Yeah.
And I said, it's better every day.
That's good.
So,
That's
yeah,
outstanding.
it was
That's a
great.
great
His
way to
family-
live life.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for all that you do. Congratulations on your Hometown Hero Award. I have run into
thank you.
so many people who have come up to me and said, "You're the guy that spoke for Jeff Salters, aren't you?" I just ran into Brian Killian's wife
Oh yeah,
at Bakersfield Country Club Saturday.
nice.
And she goes, "Are you Ralph Bailey?" And I'm like, yeah, the radio talk show. She goes, "No, I don't listen to your show, but you spoke at Jeff Salter's thing, didn't you?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, my husband listens to you." So Brian Killian, thank
Hey,
you for
there you
supporting.
go.
His
Thank you,
wife,
Mr. Gillett.
not so much, but
Yeah,
she
not a-
enjoyed the night. It was a great evening, and congratulations.
Thank you. What an honor, and thank you for being there.
That was
Honestly, I
fun.
mean, it just you kind of helped bring that whole thing together, right?
Yeah.
And exactly how I wanted. I wanted you to be kind of talk about community stuff, which is
Yeah.
what we do, and then my boys got up and they
Your
just,
boys were great.
dude,
They
knocked it
really
out.
are. They truly did. Each one of them. They got better and better. Each one of them that got up there.
It was amazing.
It was. Always good to see you, sir. I
Great
will
to see
see
you.
you at what time are Wheels up?
I hear we're going through TSA at 7:30, so wheels are probably up at 8:30, 9 o'clock. My guess. Whew. There's two 7:30s. You're gonna have to find that other 6:30. That one on the AM side.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I say, most of the time when I see that, it's just because I'm going pee, going back to bed.
Thank you. Thank you. Jeff Salters, everybody.
Ralph Bailey.
Quick time out. Coming right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KRN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com. That was great. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
News Talk
Appreciate it.
96.1
Always good to see you,
and
Pop.
AM 1180 KERN.
On the next Armstrong and Getty
Yeah, that's
show,
all it is.
top secret memos.
So yeah,
have
you got to
come
get me
light.
on your
The
bus.
Democratic
I'm getting on
Party's
your bus. I don't give a
strategy
damn what
for
my
the
color is.
midterms. How they're
I don't
going to
give a
talk
damn.
about
You don't
crime.
make-
It is thought-provoking.
And we're supposed to have a policy in place where
Oh, you
China
wanna tell
can
me
no
something?
longer buy our best AI chips and all that sort of stuff. Well, it ain't working at all. They bought billions of dollars worth.
I want to thank Jeff Salters for joining us. He's a good man. I got to say this before he gets in his car. Really good dude. Love me some Jeff Salters. The only person I know that does not drink. We have our Lily Marsh. I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble.
What'd you do now?
I don't know. I'm in trouble. Oh, she's breaking down what the flight's going to be like.
Nice.
102 total. Thank you, Lily. 1 World War II veteran, Mel Corin. 2 Korea veterans, Dan Hitchcock and Norma Lamus. Damascus, and 7 Cold War and 92 Vietnam veterans, including Donna Wolf. So that is our compliment. Wheels Up Monday. Hope you'll come out and wish us off, and then welcome the guys back when we return. I do my mysterious exit. I get off the flight first and just kind of put my head down and go through the crowd. I always feel, I don't know, guilty, when I go through that crowd. I don't know why. I'm like, don't no, they're back there. Don't applaud. Hey, Ralph, hey, Ralph. I'm like, yeah, how you doing? But it is, I barely got in by the skin of my nose, and I barely just got my senior citizens card with the bear on it, so I'm flying. I think that's why someone canceled. I hope that's why somebody canceled. I hope no one canceled because of illness or anything like that. But Mr. Hart, Mike Hart, is going on Channel 23, and let's just hope that the government opens up. Like we said, it's not going to impact the guys. The bathroom thing might be an issue, but they can always run back to the bus. But and like I said, most of, if not all of the only time we go inside is the Naval Museum, and we really don't even go inside there. I mean, you can. My dad was in the Navy. I went once and got that pin that I used to have on my hat. But it's just a great trip. It really is. It's an emotional thing for these men and women. And like I said, it's our 9th annual fundraiser coming up Thursday, and we're going to raise $50,000. And each week I lose my hair and my blood pressure goes up, thinking we're going to raise $37. And somehow you guys always come through. You really do. And we're counting on you again. Hope you'll get involved, not only welcoming the guys leaving Monday, welcoming them back on Wednesday, but helping us raise the money on Thursday. You need to talk to Elizabeth Turner. That would be a great interview. Yeah, absolutely. You don't think we're going to have veterans on Thursday and Friday? Are you kidding me? We have nothing but veterans on Thursday when we're raising the money. I know how to pull it heartstrings. Are you kidding me? At the airport, I do that. I always do the morning interviews at the airport, don't I, Chris? That's what we feed back on Tuesday, because it's normally like 4 o'clock Pacific when I finally get into the room. So we try to feed Chris and JR morning interviews from the airport before we get out of here. Final hour of the broadcast. Don't go anywhere.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. Supreme Court justices heard oral arguments about conversion therapy today, and the court's conservative majority didn't seem convinced that states can restrict talk therapy aimed at changing feelings or behavior while allowing counseling that affirms kids identifying as gay or transgender. Justice Samuel Alito.
Based on the viewpoint expressed. One viewpoint is the viewpoint that a minor should be able to obtain talk therapy to overcome same-sex attraction if that's what he or she wants. And the other is the viewpoint that the minor should not be able to obtain talk therapy to overcome same-sex attraction, even if that is what he or she wants. Looks like blatant viewpoint discrimination.
At the White House, President Trump warned that some federal workers will not get back pay after the government shutdown ends. Senate Majority Leader John Thune was asked about that comment.
I don't know the answer to your question. I haven't seen their legal analysis, but again, my assumption is that furloughed workers will get back pay. But the broader question here is the answer to everything right now is open up the government. Then these issues they're non-issues.
Air traffic controllers are among the federal workers who remain on the job without a current paycheck. This air traveler in Newark said the controllers are in a tough spot.
Yeah, that would be hard to work for no pay, but I think they understand the importance of their job and the safety that it provides to us as travelers. They need to get paid.
It's now the 7th day of the shutdown with no visible progress toward a resolution. On Wall Street today, stocks sank to their first loss in 8 days. The Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P 500 all finished lower at the closing bell. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Dinesh D'Souza went into a war zone to make his new film, revealing never-before-seen footage of October 7th. The film offers a new way to understand Israel, radical Islam,
There's nothing on tonight, huh?
and
All
biblical
we gave us this
prophecy.
afternoon.
Could the fate of the world be tied to this place?
Dinesh D'Souza's new film, The Dragon's Prophecy, is in theaters 2 nights only, October 6th and 8th. Streaming and DVDs available October 9th. All tickets and pre-orders at thedragonsprophecyfilm.com. Thedragonsprophecyfilm.com.
Progressive's Teen Driver
discount could lower the cost of insurance for your teenager and save you some money. And then you can still spend money on them. Because just when you think you have a grasp on spending, new sneakers. And then it's money for a school field trip. And of course, spending money. Oh yeah, and a new phone to replace the one they dropped in the toilet. Oh, don't remind me. So just get Progressive's Teen Driver discount. And then you can continue to spend money on them endlessly. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states. Subject to terms and conditions.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm John Shearer. The California Highway Patrol is reporting the largest group of new officers since December 2009 just graduated from the CHP Academy. To graduate, cadets must endure 26 weeks of rigorous training. The new officers will now report to one of 102 CHP area offices. Over 600 CHP officers have been sworn in this year as the department continues a statewide push to enhance public safety. Vote by mail ballots went out to all active registered voters on Monday. Secretary of State Shirley Weber said voters have several options for returning their completed ballot early, but cautions if mailed, they should be sent out a few days before Election Day. Now, that's due to changes made by the U.S. Postal Service. Under the new process, mail dropped off at post offices and mail collection boxes more than 50 miles from a regional hub is collected the next day. That means ballots dropped off at those post offices and mailboxes on Election Day won't be postmarked until the next day, making them late. Late ballots are not counted. The Kern County Department of Agriculture and Measurement Standards will offer 3 fall private applicator certificate continuing education sessions in Bakersfield this month. The first presentation is scheduled for Monday, October 20th, with 2 more to follow on the 22nd and 24th. Participants will earn 2 hours of laws and regulation credits. The certificate allows individuals to apply restricted use pesticides for agricultural purposes on their own property or their employer's property. I'm John Shearer in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What do you think? This is the Army where you shoot a mile away? You got to get a post like this. Bada bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Tuesday, 7th day of October. A date, at least for the Israelis, which will live in infamy. We'll get to that in just a moment before we get out of here. But for those of you just jumping in your car and weren't with us earlier in the day, we had the great opportunity, as we do every Tuesday at 3:30, to talk with our former federal magistrate judge, former Kern County Council. Here's Teresa Golder on the recent events involving former supervisor Zach Scrivener. We've got about 15 minutes
Okay.
to get to Mr. Scrivener.
So Zach Scrivener, you mentioned that you wanted to talk about what was going on with him,
Yes.
and I've been out of town, so I wasn't familiar with what was going on. So I read up what was happening, and his lawyer did file a motion for a mental health diversion. And have you ever heard of a mental health
How do you whack
diversion
himself?
before?
No.
There's actually a statute. There's a penal code provision. What, if anyone wants to
To
look
the
it up,
chest? What do you think?
it's
You have PTSD?
1001.36, and it allows defendants who have a diagnosed mental disorder that is recognized by the DSM-5, which is the I think it's the diagnostic something. That's the one that all the psychiatrists use. That you can, and it's related, if it played a significant role in the crime that you are alleged to have committed, and the defendant is amenable to treatment and is willing to waive their right to a speedy trial and consent to go into diversion process, then you can have diversion. But it's very interesting because the defense has to ask for it.
How did
It
you
has
get
to be
2
supported
shots?
by medical or psychological evaluations, and that's probably why Mr. Scribner's motion is partially sealed. Because I'm going to guess
Held
that
on
it's
to
sealed
it.
because they have some psych evaluations attached to it to show whatever it is that they're alleging that he suffers from. You don't want that to be public, not initially at least. So if they can prove that, then he can be referred to a treatment program that is tailored to his needs,
And I
which could
watch
include
I
therapy,
watch it.
medication, or other interventions.
part of
And
my
it can last, the
algorithm
diversion
every
program
night.
itself can last up to
And-
2 years
and
under
it just
California law.
depends.
And when it's all
Yeah, and
done,
it
when you
depends.
finish the program, guess what
Like,
happens?
charges are dismissed.
The charges are dismissed and the arrest is deemed to have never happened, period. It's like a clean slate. And I found that very interesting. And there's been an increased uptick in the use of Penal Code Section 1001.36 in California recently. And there was a case, can't remember the name of it, in 2025 that said this thing about you have to have a mental disorder. It used to be it had to be diagnosed within 5 years of the crime. Well, that's not, they opened it up so you can have it whenever it's diagnosed, because the legislature wants people, that's a sign that the legislature wants people to be able to take advantage of this opportunity that you can have, but it's always going to be up to the judge. And the most important thing is that only certain types of there are certain types of crimes that are not amenable to this program. Meaning, if you're alleged to have committed a certain type of crime, you can't go into diversion on a mental health diversion. And the crimes that you can't get it, if you commit any of these crimes, you're toast. Murder or voluntary manslaughter, and here's the interesting one: most sex offenses, including rape, child molestation, use of weapons of mass destruction.
What is he charged with?
He is actually charged with 3 counts. I wrote this down. I pulled up a copy of the complaint, the criminal complaint.
And in layman's terms,
He's charged with 2 gun crimes and 1 having to do with child abuse with a minor. That's what he's charged with.
So why doesn't this fall under that umbrella? And what in layman's term, what are they saying about his mental capacity? Are they trying to say he's crazy?
No, they're saying that he suffers from this is in order to get diversion, he has to convince the judge that he is suffering from a mental condition that's a recognized mental condition that is significantly connected to the crime that he's alleged to have committed and played a significant role in him having committed that crime. That's what it is.
This is the biggest travesty.
Isn't that crazy?
It is.
But it's a law, and he's entitled to file that, and the judge is the only one that's going to decide it. And I think it's Judge Cannon who it's in front of.
Gloria Cannon.
And I think the hearing is in a few
Next
weeks.
Thursday.
Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting. But some of the qualifying mental disorders, which I found very interesting, that people can have and get into this program: schizophrenia, bipolar, depression, anxiety disorders, post-traumatic stress disorder, obsessive compulsive and related disorders, personality disorders, including borderline personality disorders, dissociative disorders, like you don't know who you are at times, and then some kind of neurocognitive disorders related to a traumatic brain injury. So if you have one of those, you can be eligible for a diversion if it was significantly related to the crime that you committed, you're amenable to going to treatment, and you're willing to waive time.
What does this say about our community, Teresa?
About our community?
Yes.
Well, this is a state statute. So
no, this whole mess.
Oh, this whole thing?
This whole thing. The Cynthia calling Donnie sending his people, the Tehachapi police not having anything to do with it, him never going to jail, and him now certainly never going to sit 1 foot in jail.
Ralph, I think you're jumping the gun. What's that thing? Jump the shark or jump the
Jump the
gun?
gun.
I always get it. I always
Jump
get
the
it
gun.
wrong. What's
Jump
the
the
difference?
shark is
I always
when a
get that wrong.
television series goes bad.
Okay, so jump the gun. I think you're jumping the gun on this because
You think he's going to jail?
I think it's going to depend on whether Judge Cannon grants this motion or
Which
not.
she will.
I wouldn't be so sure.
I
really
don't see how
wouldn't.
she can. The guy's studying at Cal State to try to further his career. Ain't nothing wrong with that person. And I cleaned that up. He was high on mushrooms and he freaked out and he did something stupid and he should be punished for it.
Just like
and I
anybody
guess
else.
at the end of the day, his real punishment is he'll never have any kind of relationship with his children. I guess at the end of the day, that's God's punishment for this
That's
guy.
a big punishment.
That is a big
That's
punishment.
worse than anything. But
I don't think he gives a damn.
Here's the. Oh, I think he does. I think he.
What
cares.
would make you think that? He
Because-
quit his job so he couldn't support his wife and his kids.
You don't know that.
Why'd he quit his job?
I don't know. But you don't know that.
Well, that's I get paid. I get paid
think-
every 2 weeks. To
I think
speculate.
that Zach Scribner loves his children very much. I do, and I say that because
Really?
because
I do not.
I know Zach Scribner. I knew Zach Scribner when I worked when I was county council.
And I knew OJ.
Well, he was on
Well,
the board
not really,
of
but you
supervisors.
see the point I'm trying to make.
I was around him when some of his children were born. I know how proud he was to be a dad. I know how much it meant to him.
Teresa Golder, you are
really,
a
truly.
grown woman, and you know nobody knows anybody until you live with them.
That's true. That's
So
true.
he could be. He wouldn't have done what he did. He wouldn't have a knife scar on his back if he had a great relationship with his kids.
Mr.
He
Bailey.
would have supported his children. He would have continued to work. He would have supported his wife, who was supporting his children. And instead, he ducked out when they needed him most.
Mr.
That's
Bailey.
not love.
You don't know, but you don't know what happened. He's pled not guilty. And he doesn't have to plead guilty to go into this diversion program. He doesn't ever have to plead guilty to it. So he may never have a conviction.
No, we
and
knew
remember,
that. We knew that a week after the incident.
and remember what our law says.
You got the complexion for the protection, and you got the name for the protection.
The complexion for the protection.
That's right.
I
That's
haven't
right.
heard that.
A
You think
black
that's what it
guy,
is?
a black guy would be underneath the jail right now. A Latino would be even further underneath the jail right now,
Well,
in my opinion.
I like to think that you're wrong on that.
I know, because you're a nice
know.
person and you don't see any bad in anybody. I'm a
Oh
reporter.
no, I see bad in people.
I'm a reporter. I see
That's
bad in
funny.
everybody.
But here's why I think you're jumping the gun on this.
Okay.
Because remember, it's up to the judge to decide.
Come on, Gloria.
She has to take a holistic approach to all of this, consider everything and all about Zach Scribner's life and the whole 9 yards and the alleged crime, and decide whether or not he's the kind of person that deserves this sort of treatment. And I'm going to say deserves in quotes,
Deserves what kind of treatment? The diversion?
the diversion
No,
program.
no.
But here's the thing. There are some things that that he cannot, if he's committed a crime that's related to these, he is not eligible for this diversion program. And I want to go through the list because it comes right from the statute. So most sex offenses requiring registration mean that he would not be eligible to get into this diversion program. And the sex offenses that would exclude him from this diversion program are rape, sodomy, lewd or lascivious acts with a minor. And that's under Penal Code Section 288.
But he wasn't charged with that.
Right. Oral copulation, continual sex abuse of a minor, sexual penetration by force or fear. And then there's also, well, that's pretty much all of them. But they didn't charge him with Penal Code Section 288.
No,
That's
because
very
Rob
interesting.
Bonta is Rob Bonta. He's a moron.
Why do you think they didn't do it because he's a moron?
I think it's all connected. Yes, I think a fellow DA, a fellow prosecutor, even if she's a Republican,
serious?
I'll do you solid. There's no other explanation.
Yeah,
I heard our sheriff say I wouldn't be standing here if
In
something
the
didn't
first
happen."
inning?
And I believe
Oh,
Donna
my
Young.
God.
I believe the deputies saw what was going on. I believe the boys. I think the state does not want the only witnesses to have to take the stand, which are the children. And I don't think the DA's office wants anything to do with Humberto Sala. I think when Humberto Sala takes a case, the DA's office runs for the hills
See, I hate this
and starts getting the papers to make a plea deal.
It would be wise to do
thing or
that.
the helmet or
I think so.
Exactly.
Doesn't
Yeah, 'cause
Seattle
there's
have
nobody
like
in
the
that building,
Trident?
and I do mean
Like
no
really?
one in that building that's a better
No, we
lawyer
don't
than
do
Umberto
shit.
Salas.
We do this.
He's
And they
I
are
don't even like
scared
this.
to death.
And then,
Well, I'm sure he wrote
Yeah.
a very good motion.
but the
and
whole
I'm sure he's
helmet.
got all the
There's one
exhibits
team that's
attached
got
to it
like the
that he
freaking
needs to. But I want to go back
helmet
and just clarify something. Zach Scribner was charged one of the 3 counts, the 2 weapons counts, and
Right.
the other count
I mean, the
is
only thing we do is the
violating Penal
sunflower
Code Section
seeds. And that's
273AA,
tail.
which is child abuse under circumstances or conditions likely to cause great bodily injury or death. In that he did willfully and unlawfully under circumstances and conditions likely to produce
ready
great
to go?
bodily harm. And then it goes on to say cause someone to get hurt.
Now,
So
is
it's very general.
is that
That's not an excluded crime.
Is that the knife fight, or is that wheeling the gun around, or is that the touching of
I don't know.
of the daughter?
That's the way the complaint reads. Don't
See,
know.
because I think that has something to do with the knife fight
They
and
talk
him
about the
waving
knife.
around the gun.
They talk about the knife fight in here in that same paragraph, but they're very vague on what it is that supposedly he did in these specific counts. In count
Well,
one,
of course they are.
in count one, here's the one that has to do with the child. 273A, it's the same code section.
Right.
And it says, did under circumstances likely to produce great bodily harm and death, to wit, sexually penetrate, injure, cause, and permit a child to suffer and be inflicted with unjustifiable physical pain and suffering. And then it goes on. That's the way they describe it in the criminal complaint. But that's section 273, and that's not lewd or lascivious acts under Penal Code Section 288. So technically speaking, he is still in the game as far as being eligible for a diversion program, and it's all going to depend on what the judge thinks.
Here is my magic wand.
Yes.
I'm making you Gloria Cannon. Make a
Oh.
decision.
Okay.
Come on,
Okay. Well, I haven't seen the whole thing. I haven't read the whole thing.
But
I would deny the motion.
that a girl. You hear that, Gloria? Come on, girlie. Cannon family, talk to your auntie, your grandma, your mother, your pal. Come on, Gloria, do the right thing. This guy should be underneath the damn jail.
No, don't say
I'm
that.
sorry.
No,
I gotta
that's not-
fly. Teresa Golden, everybody.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Wednesday edition of the First Look program, we'll talk semi-glutides with our friend Dr. Vip Dev. John Cox will be joining us. We'll have the news quiz. I will kill it. We'll back all of that up with state-of-the-art news, traffic, and weather the way we always do. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Attention,
hit 20 home runs
Medicare
in a day.
beneficiaries
You
here
can
in
start
Kern
everybody.
County. If you are eligible for Medicare and looking for a doctor who listens and cares about you with minimal wait times and prompt referral authorizations, it's time you learned about QualCare IPA. QualCare IPA contracts with most Medicare Advantage health plans and provides you with access to a large network of outstanding doctors and quality hospitals right here in Kern County. Medicare Advantage health plans go beyond
That's the
original
difference with the
Medicare
Dodgers the
benefits and
last 2
coverage,
weeks.
and understanding
We're
these
getting-
coverage
we're
differences
getting
may
hits
be
with runners in
confusing.
scoring
Call us today at 661-554-4544. Let us help you
Runners on
understand
second
your
and third, you
healthcare
gotta get a
options for
base hit.
2025.
You gotta get a
Call
fly
today,
ball. You gotta do something.
661-554-4544.
But remember we went to that stage, we were leaving bases loaded and shit.
554-4544. Get the information you need and the coverage you deserve. For accommodations of persons with special needs at meetings, call 661-554-4544 TTY 711.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey, Wisconsin.
last
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the
Chase it
U.S. are
early.
now spending
Yep,
on
we
gas
chase
in
it
a
early.
year. $5,000.
elimination
That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're
All of
already
New York
buying.
is
You can
in
literally
pressure.
start earning cash back today.
Jets
I use
suck.
Upside
The Giants suck.
I've already made around
The
$300.
Knicks are the
You're
best
putting gas
team
in your
in
car
New
anyway.
York. Can you
Why not
might get real cash back. If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation
And
later
they're
this
just
year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash
maybe a
back every
player or
time you
two
buy
away
gas. Use promo
from
code
competing.
MILE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the
They
free
need
Upside
one
app
more
and use
score,
promo code
'cause I just-
MILE for a 25 cents per
Towns
gallon bonus on your first tank.
so
That's
fucking
code
iffy.
MILE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
You've
They
got
need
your whole
another
life ahead of you.
legitimate
So
score.
choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow.
Who?
The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th.
I don't remember
So go to
his dad.
uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage California can count on.
Need cash fast?
What was
Tap into the value of your home with a home equity line of credit
I
from Valley
swear I was
Stone
hoping
Credit
he was
Union.
leaving the Lakers.
Whether it's for home
I
improvements,
swear to God.
debt consolidation,
I was
or
like,
that dream vacation, you can get your cash offer in
Yep,
minutes.
I'm going to
That's
Golden
right,
State.
just
No, I
minutes
thought
to
he was
unlock
gonna
the
go to
power of your
Golden
home's equity with no hard
I was
credit pull
hoping
to
he
see
was.
how
I
much
hate-
cash you can get. No stress,
Did you see the
no
Bronny
waiting. Just
performance,
smart
the
local
112?
banking that puts you first.
They did the same.
Grow
They
your
did a
possibilities
Angel
with Valley
Reese
Strong
on
Credit
Bronny.
Union. Visit
Perfect
valleystone.com
time!
to get started
Bang!
today.
The Charlie
was-
Kirk Show.
he was one of
weekdays at
12.
6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Yeah, he was
Now,
1
back
and
to the
12.
Ralph
It was
Bailey
ugly.
Show.
Again, I want to thank Teresa Gold, who was with us earlier in the broadcast. We just re-aired her position on Zach Scrivener. And, you know, like I said, when we talked to her live, Zach's not going to jail. Zach's not going to go to trial. Teresa seems to think, and she's the former judge, that Miss Cannon is not going to provide him with a diversion program. I just don't believe that. I think both sides, and again, I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's make that clear. But I think when both sides agree, when the prosecution says we're willing to give this guy a diversion, I think the judge is going to sign off on it. And I'm praying that their motivating factor is the idea that if this thing goes to trial, let us all remember who the witnesses are. The only witness beyond Mr. Scrivener are his 4 children. Can you imagine teenagers taking the stand and being grilled by H.A. Sala? Hell, can you imagine them having to answer questions from the prosecution? Can you imagine a child having to take the stand in a trial that involves the future of their father? So, if they were transparent and Bonta and Sala and the judge just said, given the circumstances of this and the fact that all the witnesses are children, we're going to give this guy a pass, I would be uncomfortable with that, but I would feel a whole lot better than what's about to happen, which is he's got the complexion for the protection, he's got the name for the protection, so he's going to get a pass. That's why. But if they were transparent and just said, well, we just don't want these kids to go through this, I would understand that. It's the old OJ thing. I can't condone what OJ did, but I understand. Ron Goldman was running around in that Ferrari. He was sleeping with OJ's wife. Not that that justifies murder, but I understand. But because think about it, and I don't mean to jump off the road, but you ever had a waiter return glasses to your house? Think about that. That was the premise for Goldman coming to the house. They had eaten at his restaurant, La Luna, which is no longer exists in Brentwood. They leveled it. And she had, I think it was her mother's glasses, which makes it even more incredulous because her mother lives in Dana Point. So it's not like if he brought the glasses tonight, she was going to get them, or they were Nicole's glasses and she needed them to read, like I do. If I leave these things here, I ain't reading nothing tonight. You know what I'm saying? But he was definitely sleeping with Nicole. And again, not that that has anything to do with justifying murder. I'm just saying to fill you in. You know, she was in a black negligee. She had drawn a bath. There were candles in the bath. And she's waiting for Ron to bring the glasses. Really? I don't think so. And poor Ron, you know, he was a martial arts expert, and all he had to do was run. See, I'm telling you, there's something to be said to be a coward. Because I'd opened that fence and saw OJ and slammed that fence and ran and wouldn't have stopped till I got to El Segundo. But he tried to like take him on, and you know, OJ must have laughed deep inside. Don't you know who I am? I'm Orenthal James Simpson, and I happen to have a very large knife on me. You can do all this nonsense if you want, but I'm about to tear you up, boy. You going crazy? Who you got?
You got Brian on the line.
Brian, you got about 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Hey, I heard Chris read a text earlier why Scrivener was not charged with under the influence of drugs.
Why? Yes, that is.
I have the answer to that.
What is the answer?
Under the influence of drugs is handled under Health and Safety Code 11550. It lists the different types of drugs that is covered there, like heroin, methamphetamine, PCP, all that stuff. Mushrooms is not listed under that statute. Mushrooms and like marijuana, that's all covered under Penal Code Section 647F, which is simply public drunk. So mushrooms is just being drunk in public.
Oh, he still should have been charged.
Well, yeah, that's probably one of the lowest misdemeanors you can even get, because most people arrested for public intoxication, they go to jail, they spend 5 hours in the drunk tank, and they let them go.
But can you be on drugs around your children?
That's a separate charge.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You should have been charged with that. You can't be drunk or high around your kids.
Well, it would be no different than being around your kids and drinking an 18-pack of Coors Light.
I think that would still fall under child endangerment if you were drunk as a skunk.
I agree, but it wouldn't be under the influence of drugs.
Okay. Thanks for the info. Appreciate it.
Okay, bye.
Take care. Final half hour of the broadcast. The Yankees are down 2-0 in the bottom of the first. In the meantime, you're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. A case about faith-based LGBTQ conversion therapy for kids was argued before the Supreme Court today, and justices seem to be leaning in favor of a Christian counselor who is challenging bans on such therapy. The federal government shutdown, now a week old, no end in sight. Republicans and Democrats fight over a stopgap funding bill, and now concern growing nationwide over air traffic controllers.
Hey Siri,
because they're expected to continue working without a
Coconut
paycheck.
Joe's.
Some of them have started calling out sick, leading to delays at several U.S. airports. Forecasters keeping watch on a couple of big storms. Tropical Storm Jerry has now strengthened in the Atlantic Ocean. It's on a path toward the Caribbean. It's expected to strengthen into a hurricane soon. Meanwhile, off the coast of Mexico, Hurricane Priscilla, almost a Category 3.
News Talk
Like to make an order to go?
96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Excuse
From
me?
the KERN Newsroom, your live and
Ralph?
local news update on News Talk 96.1
661-619-6571.
KERN.
I'm John Shearer. Vote by mail ballots
two-piece
went out
chicken,
to all active
dark,
registered
with
voters
rice
on
and
Monday.
beans
Secretary
and
of State
two
Shirley Weber
salsas.
said voters have several options for returning their
Yes,
completed
dark.
ballot early, but cautions if mailed, they should be sent out
No
a
bread.
few days before Election Day to be sure your vote is
That's it.
counted. The California Highway Patrol is reporting the largest
I'll be
group
there at
of new
6.
officers since December
Thank you.
2009 just graduated from the CHP Academy. To graduate, cadets must endure 26 weeks of rigorous training. The new officers will now report to one of 102 CHP offices. Over 600 CHP officers have been sworn in this year. I'm John Shearer in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day. No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look our way and come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Oh no, Dad, I spilled juice on the carpet.
Don't worry, kiddo. We have stain-resistant carpet from Carpet Outlet Plus.
Dad, Lucky dunked his water bowl all over the new floors.
Everything is fine. We have brand new waterproof floors from Carpet Outlet Plus. You can find everything you need for family-proof floor at Bakersfield's best flooring store. Now offering 1 year, no interest financing. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Coming up on the Wednesday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, the spying by the weaponized FBI on a whole bunch of Republican senators. We'll talk to Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin about this situation. We'll also look at the latest on the Trump showdown with deployment of National Guard elements to Democrat-run cities. How's that looking? What are the judges saying? What's Trump doing? That's all coming up on Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Armstrong and Getty Show. Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Be ready for a brand new beat. Boy, when you bring the drapes down, that television is crystal clear. It's about the size of my bedroom TV. What's that, about a 32?
Oh, no, it's a bigger 32.
That's bigger than a 32?
Oh, yeah.
No. That TV is not bigger than my bedroom TV.
I would think so, yeah.
I don't think so, bro. That looks like a
I'm going to have to
32.
ask, but I'm pretty sure it's got to be in the 40s.
No, that is not bigger than mine. I'm telling you, that's a 32.
Well, because remember, you're looking at the box. There's an extra like 3 or 4 inches outside of that box right now because the screen it's playing is my phone. It's actually much bigger than the light is showing you at the moment.
I have absolutely no idea
there's-
what you're talking about.
There's a big black border around
Yeah.
the game right now. So the TV is actually much bigger than what you're seeing. I'll explain during the break.
I still don't understand. The frame of the thing is 32 inches around. I'm telling you.
We'll have to double check.
Don't we have a rule? We don't have rulers.
I don't got a tape measure.
We don't have a
Otherwise I
tape
go to
measure
the-
either. I'm telling you, it looks like the size of mine. I only watch the 65 for like really important movies, really important games.
Well, of course.
I love my 32. It was a present from my former girlfriend, Monica, who said some nice things about me. My mom, it was Son's Day the other day, and my mom put something on Facebook, and Monica chimed in.
Aw.
Yeah. See, I'm good friends with most of my girlfriends, most of the serious girlfriends.
And yet you gave me grief for being good friends with one of mine.
No, that was a completely different deal.
I know, I'm just throwing it out
You
there.
were like dating her and still
Look,
being
man,
like
I'm not dating.
in the platoon. What is going on with you lately?
I'm
Nothing. You never reconcile with Visalia?
No, I mean we tried, but it just didn't work out. It just fizzled after that. And honestly, once you get something like that in there, especially early, it's hard to come back from that.
And you can't do LD, and that's an LD. That's an LD. That's a trek. What is it? 45 minutes? 50 minutes?
It was close to about an hour and a half.
Hour and a half
between.
She might as well live in LA. You'd be better. You could date somebody in Santa Clarita. It's closer. It's not an hour and a half. Hey Siri, how long does it take to get from Bakersfield to Visalia?
Hour 15.
Wow.
Traffic to Visalia, California from Bakersfield, California.
Hour and 12 minutes.
So it should take 1 hour and 12 minutes via CA.
That's why I was like, it was kind of on the border because it's like only an hour away. But you're right. The 2 or 3 times I did go out there, it did kind of feel like a trek.
Yeah.
Although it was still fun. Love to go see her.
Yeah. Well, I had a fun time Saturday night.
Ooh.
I beg your pardon?
I said but technically
I just said who.
I didn't say who.
I said who because you know.
No owl.
There's no.
We know how this goes. You can talk about the situation. You can't say the name. That's the big thing.
No, I can't even talk about the situation.
You can't even bring up the situation?
No, because someone.
Uh-oh.
This person doesn't listen, but someone close to her listens.
Ah.
Yeah. That's how I got in trouble with Carla. Carla never listened to the show, but Carla heads a department at Mercy Hospital, and a lot of her underlings would listen to the show. So we would do something, and I can understand this. It wasn't that she would get mad at what I said. She just got upset that her underlings, she's a very, very private girl, and she would get upset that she would come in and they would be like, so how was Eureka's? And she'd be like, I beg your pardon? Well, we were just listening to Ralph, and apparently you Eureka's Saturday.
See, I can't do that.
And she did not like that.
That's annoying. Like when everybody else knows your business and stuff, that's got to get annoying.
And I'm like, well, it's kind of the nature of the show, Carla. I talk about everything. I vomit. I can't edit. I can't, after 13 years here and 12, you're doing this for almost 25 years. I can't change who I am and start editing myself.
Well, I don't even think it's necessarily that. It's more, at least in my opinion, it's like, I don't know why other people have to insert themselves into people's relationships.
Well, true. Thank you. That's what I would say. That's what I used to tell her.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell them to mind their own damn business?
Exactly. Her underling is going to her with everything like, oh, I heard you went to Vegas. What happened in Vegas? Like, you don't need to know. Why are you pestering?
The thing that I have never understood is why I simply just don't change their names.
Well,
why I just didn't call her Mary.
Or like Martha or something simple. True.
Yeah. It's the Dragnet. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. That's all I had to do. But no, I'd be like, I'd give out her social security number. You know what I'm saying? I'm so stupid. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I've had most girlfriends enjoy it, actually. Monica kind of dug it. I know Roxanne loved it. Roxanne was the girlfriend. Roxanne would call in. I'd be telling a story, and Todd would be like, Ralph, we've got somebody on the line. And I'd be like, oh, God.
What detail did I mess up?
And she'd be like, Ralph, we didn't go to Mexicali. We were at Eureka's. Oh, yeah, that's right. And just stuff like that. She totally got it. She was like a character on our morning show. She really, really was. And we did a lot of remotes, and she would go, and Roxanne could charm the birds out of the trees. I told her she went with me to bury my dad, and my family at first had a little boogity in them. I'm not going to lie. And by the end of the week, they were absolutely in love with her. They were absolutely in love with her.
One good.
And she would be the only white person in the room everywhere we went, which had to be, for a Bakersfield girl, that had to be the biggest culture shock. I don't think she'd ever been to the South. And here she is in Beaufort, South Carolina, and Savannah, Georgia.
And yet everybody here thinks they know what it's like to live in the South, too. You ever notice that?
And it's a different world.
It really is.
I told you my cousin went up to my sister and said, Trees, yo mama don't mind Ralph dating a white girl. My sister's like, no, we love Roxanne. And my cousin goes, you Californians
Yeah, see?
Like it's exclusive to California. Like, and probably this was late 90s. Probably back then it almost was to them, you know, because much of the neighborhoods that we lived in Beaufort is still segregated. There's still a black section of Beaufort. And then there's the colonial old Confederate homes that belong to the white folks. Savannah, not so much. Where my grandmother lives, my other grandmother lived, not so much. But Beaufort is still very much segregated. I cannot wait to get back to Beaufort. I really can. I need to get back to Beaufort. I had a dream about what happened to me in Beaufort. I don't know why I dreamt about it. Where I got lost. I went walking one morning and I totally got mixed up. And there was this old man chopping wood straight out of a movie. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm just wandering around Beaufort and I get lost. And this old man is in a wife beater and some jeans and some overalls that aren't attached. I mean, it's straight out of central casting. And he's out in front of his yard just chopping wood. And I said, excuse me, sir, can you tell me how to get to 1010 North Street? What you want with 1010 North Street? I said, well, I'm staying with my uncles. Your uncles? Who are your uncles? I said, Irvin and Charlie Bailey. That would make you Ralph Bailey's son. And I said, yes, sir. You Ralph Jr. Yeah, that's it. Boy, you know, I was in the Navy with your daddy, and I must have been there for 45 minutes with this man. And your granddaddy was the dean of the church. I'm like, I was there.
It's like, thank you for the history lesson.
Yeah, boy. And your grandmama played the piano, and I think your mama played the piano a little bit too. Yes, she did, actually. It was great. It really was kind of cool. And that's just the South, you know? You drive down the street, and people are on their porch, and you're driving, and they wave, and you're like, why are they waving? Because that's the South. Everybody, hey there, tell your mama, and everybody ends a sentence with, tell your mama I said, hey.
That's a threat here in California.
It's straight out of the Andy Griffith Show. Make sure you tell your mama I said, hey now. Tell her I'm going to come by there for some of that fried chicken. It's just a whole different world and a whole different vibe.
Yeah, but so you say that here in California, they're thinking something completely different.
And everybody, and I do mean everybody, goes to church on Sunday. You are an outlier and considered a little weird if you don't go to church. And there's a church on every corner in Beaufort, South Carolina. It's like there are more churches than there are liquor stores. But it's a beautiful city if you've never been there. You know who's fallen in love? You guys know Liz, the main hostess at Luigi's? Her and her husband, Phil, have fallen in love with South Carolina. In fact, I think they might own property in Beaufort. And because I think I was kidding her that maybe one day we'll be neighbors because technically I own that house. I don't know why. I really don't. But when I was a little boy, I think it was because my oldest uncle, my dad's older brother, never had kids. And my uncle Irvin didn't have kids till I was like 12. So it looked like there wasn't going to be an heir. And I think that's why my grandmother left me that house. It's in my name. And we own some property out in not Hilton Head, not really Hilton Head, but we can't do anything with it. And we get offers every year. And I keep telling my uncle, no way. I'm never selling that land until I either have to or have to build something on it and live on it, which could be a possibility. I would love to grow old in that house. I love that house. It's a tiny little 3-bedroom house, 1 bathroom. That's when I was young is why I hated going to see my parents, my grandparents, because of the 1 bathroom. And when you're the youngest of all, you're the last one to use the bathroom. My grandparents would go first. My parents would go 3rd and 4th. And I'd be like my uncle would go 5th. And I'd be the 6th one to use the bathroom. And the water was normally cold. But it's a great old house. She's got a beautiful porch. And she used to have a fig tree that was like the highlight of my summer. Like I literally would run in, hug my grandparents, throw my bags down, and run the back porch and pick figs right up. My mother would get livid because I wouldn't wash them. I just pull them off the tree and pop them in my mouth. Have you ever had a fig?
Yeah.
Have you really?
Yeah.
They are delicious.
Fantastic.
Especially when they're soft and just perfect. Oh, they're the best fruit. Oh, I miss the South. I really do. I even missed Atlanta. Atlanta was fun. Atlanta was a fun city. I just couldn't. I could have finished at Morehouse had I gone from 22 to 26. 4 and 2 is 6, yeah. But 18 to 22, I couldn't handle it. I was just too. I was just having too much fun. I had a ball. I wish I could tell you some of the stories of some of the stuff that I got into, because I got into some funky stuff when I was a kid. Let's go ahead and take our final break of the day, shall we? Chicken and rice tonight for the kid. And you know what night it is? No sports on, but
Love and Hip Hop Atlanta.
Damn Skippy. And now it gets funky. Okay, last I left you, the production company sent them to Puerto Rico.
Yes.
And right before they went to Puerto Rico, part of the group found out that a new couple who are going on the trip to Puerto Rico and celebrating their 9th anniversary, they found out that the wife has been cheating on him. And so, and I know this is all manufactured to a certain degree, but it can't be that manufactured because these people are truly married and have been married for 9 years. How do you manufacture what they're about to go through? So, of course, the kicker from last episode was now the whole group knows and it's starting to get out. And the very end of last week's episode was him taking off the microphone and slamming the door. So that's where it's going to start tonight. It's going to be funky. And it's horrible that I'm like jazzed that I'm going to watch this marriage fall apart on national television, but
it's all scripted. It's for good fun.
But how scripted can it be? These people have been married for 9 years. I don't think the show existed 9 years ago.
I asked the same question about the WWE.
Oh, no, come on. Come on. You know, my father was a huge WWE guy.
I remember you telling me that.
Crazy.
And I'm telling you, it's athletic soap operas. It's fun when you just let yourself turn your brain off.
He and my nephew, Christopher, would sit and watch WWE, and I would just be amazed because my dad would be like, yeah, that's the mongoose. And
no, every
that's,
game.
Yeah. And I'm like, who are you? The hell? Final break of the night. Keep it locked. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Howard Marcus will be with us. And I got something else up my sleeve. Just not sure what it is. As we get ready for Honor Flight Week. Flight 52 leaving on Monday, returning on Wednesday. And our Honor Flight fundraiser is Thursday. I'm depending on you guys to bail me out once more. It's our 9th consecutive year. Started as a lark. We raised $17,000 the first year. Our highlight was, I think, 3 years ago. We raised $60,000. And last year, this time, we raised, I think, $40,000 and change. Final time out of the night. You've been listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we stream live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
On the next Armstrong and Getty show, top secret memos have come to light. The Democratic Party's strategy for the midterms, how they're going to talk about crime. It is thought-provoking.
And we're supposed to have a policy in place where China...
Go bust out the promos real quick. Whenever you're ready.
3, 2, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't know what Judge Cannon is going to do next week, but let me tell you something. Zach Scrivener will never go to trial. Zach Scrivener will never see a moment in jail. It is one of the great travesties that I have seen in the 30 years that I've lived in this county. 3-2. Oh, we got Dodgers tomorrow. 3-2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Wednesday TRBS. It's a Wednesday. So our former federal agent, Howard Marcus, will be with us, and we'll preview Game 3, Dodgers versus Phillies. Yoshinobu Yamamoto takes the bump for the Dodgers. All that and me at 3. It's TRBS, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. I'll see you at 3. Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Kitchen and bath. Beautiful cabinetry. Smart design.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com. Introducing the IHOP Value Menu, where all your breakfast faves are just $6 each every day. Where else can you get a big, filling, sit-down breakfast for only $6? Go to your happy place with the $6 IHOP Value Menu. Available every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations.
Ooma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code MILE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code MILE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code MILE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News.
Oh, no, it's Lily, too. I am told to tell you to be there at 6:30, TSA at 7 a.m. They always yell at me because I'm not on time. But I'm always there in plenty of time to get on the plane. But I'm always like one of the last guys there. Although the photographer was there later than I was. So I was not the last guy. I was the second to last guy. 6:30. It's dark at 6:30. That's why I can't play golf with Swaim and those guys. I tried to get up at 6:30. It is. Oh, Dave Perkins chimed in. I'm finally going on flight 52 this time. Woohoo! Well, that's outstanding, Dave. I will see you at the airport. Why is my phone not ringing? I didn't hear any one of those text messages. My man Dave Perkins is going on a flight. That's outstanding. What was I about to do? Oh, KGT has a story. That's what I was looking at. But my phone will not cooperate with me and open it up for some reason. Please stand by. I got to see this. Can you open it up and read it?
Which one are we talking
There's a
about?
story on Jasmine Baines. She made a comment about the Scrivener situation.
Give me one moment.
Maybe if I turn my phone off. Well, I'll turn it off and turn it back on. Please stand by. Don't go anywhere. We got a couple of minutes left. Just relax. Everybody just calm your nerves. Nothing wrong with me trying to turn my damn phone on if I knew how to. All right, here we go. Stand by. We'll close out the show with this. As soon as my phone.
I found KGET's latest story on the. Is it the one that says that he shouldn't go to jail?
I don't know. I hadn't read it. I was about to read it. Hang on. I'll read it as soon as my phone. All right, here we go. KGT. Come on, KGT. Supervisors approved nearly $33 million contract. No, come on. I'm sorry. I am wasting you guys' time on this. KGT. Ashante, not guilty. Can you find the story?
I'm reading this one right here. That's
About Jasmine Baines?
Sala.
No, the story that I had that somehow disappeared was Jasmine Baines was commenting on the Sala situation. Now, for some reason, I cannot find it.
There we go. Found it.
All right, what do you got?
The Assemblywoman Dr. Jasmine Baines publicly commented on the criminal case against former Supervisor Zach Scrivener, saying the case has an open Epstein loophole. In a press release on Tuesday, Baines criticized the motion seeking mental health diversion for Scrivener. He is charged with multiple felonies, including 3 counts of child cruelty, which we talked about earlier. The quote says, "There is no mental health condition that forces someone to touch a child inappropriate," Baines says, "not to mention allegedly doing so while being in possession of illegal firearms. If these allegations are true and treatment is warranted, that care can be delivered behind bars. If the allegations are not true, why ask for diversion?"
Good question. I am in the uncomfortable position of agreeing with her. 100%.
There's one more quote here that says,
What
"They
do
have
you got?
left an Epstein loophole in the case. Even if the DOJ was unsure they could prove any charge in court, they should still have brought charges reflecting the evidence in their complaint that alleges Mr. Scrivener, quote, got into bed and subsequently touched a child inappropriately.
I agree 1,000%.
Failing to do so may result in no jury, no time, or no justice."
Well, no kidding. No kidding. Been trying to tell you that for almost however long it's been. Want to thank Teresa Golder for joining us and my good friend Jeff Salters, Tamar, Howard Marcus, and preview of the Dodger game. For Chris, I'm Ralph. That's what's really going on. Up to you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180 KERN, Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM, Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. As the government shutdown drags on, President Trump says not all federal workers should receive back pay after the government reopens.
I would say it depends on who we're talking about. I can tell you this, the Democrats have put a lot of people in great risk and jeopardy, but it really depends on who you're talking about. But for the most part, we're going to take care of our people. There are some people that really don't deserve to be taken care of, and we'll take care of them in a different way.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said the president simply has no respect for federal workers.
Trump and his people are trying to threaten, use these people as pawns, and say they're not going to get paid, they're not going to get back pay, and all of these kinds of things. They realize it. So I've talked to air traffic controllers. I've talked to many and they resent how Trump is trying to use them.
The deployment of National Guard troops to Chicago sparked some heated exchanges during a congressional hearing, including this response from Attorney General Pam Bondi to Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois.
And again, the National Guard is on the way right now as we speak. Oh, by the way, so is Director Patel and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. You're sitting here grilling me, and they're on their way to Chicago to keep your state safe.
A majority of Supreme Court justices today seemed likely to side